All righty. Good evening, everyone. My name is Wanda Wheatley. I am the current chair commissioner for the town of Cottage City. Tonight is May 10th, 2023, and we are beginning our town meeting. And the time is 7:01 p.m. So before we get started, I just want to do a little housekeeping. And I wanted to ask, are there any additions to the agenda? Any corrections? Any comments on the agenda? Hearing no corrections or comments, we will go with the agenda as it is in front of us. First thing we're going to do tonight is swear in our new commissioners for Ward 1 and our new commissioner at large. I
Point
do
of
want to,
order. Hold on, point of order. You have to, someone has to stand up and announce, I think it's Carol or Brittany if she's here, or the president of whoever the election board, and give the election results, and then go into that.
oh, I'm not
Yeah.
sure if they're on the call.
Well,
Also, did you take attendance?
Well, the way they have it,
Excuse me.
they have that's why I asked, is there any corrections to the agenda? Because the way it's listed is call to order and swearing in is first.
Yeah,
So
well, I apologize.
that's why I asked that question.
But yeah, there is, Ann's right too, to take attendance and then begin that part of it. Yeah, it's just a matter of housekeeping. That's all.
So let's do some little corrections on the agenda. So we will do the roll call first before we do the swearing in. And we'll have the announcement of the election results. Again, before we do the swearing in, I do not have the election results.
I have them.
So let me do the roll call. Ward 1, Commissioner Young.
Commissioner Young, present.
Ward 2, Commissioner Armache.
Present.
Ward 3, Commissioner Wheatley is present. Ward 4, Commissioner Givens.
Givens present.
At large, Commissioner Danielle Uri. I do not see Commissioner Uri. I'm gonna mark her as absent for right now. So we do have 4 commissioners in attendance, so we do have a quorum, so we can proceed with our meeting tonight. Let's see, we did the roll call. We're moving things around. Carol, you want to give the announcement of the election since we don't have the election judges here?
The town of Cottage City held municipal elections on May 1st, 2023. The results are for Ward 1 Commissioner Ann Marshall Young, 88 votes. And at-large Commissioner John Brooks, 66 votes, and Danielle Uri, 45 votes.
All righty. So the winners
With that
are.
said, yeah, yes, she has to announce that.
So the commissioner for Ward 1 shall be Ann Marshall Young, and the elected commissioner for at-large commissioner will be John Brooks.
Thank you. So we did the roll call. We had their election results. So now we will proceed. But before we swear in the new commissioners, I do want to thank Commissioner Danielle Uri for her years of service on the commission. We appreciate her serving her community, and we encourage her to continue to be a part of the community. And we appreciate all of her time spent on the commission. So let's get to the swearing in. So I do have the oath in front of me. I'll turn my camera on. I cannot tell if you guys have your hands raised or not, but I do need you to raise I believe it is your right hand.
It's raised.
So I'm gonna start. And then I just need you to repeat after me. In the beginning, you're gonna state your name and then the rest you'll repeat. So Commissioner Young and Mr. Brooks, are you ready?
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
let's get started. I state your name,
I, John Brooks,
I, Ann Marshall Young,
do swear
do swear
do swear
that I will support
that
that
I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution
the
of the United
Constitution of
States
the United States,
and that I will be faithful
and that I will be faithful
and that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true
and bear
allegiance
true allegiance
to the state of Maryland
to the state of
to the
Maryland
state of Maryland
and the town of Cottage City,
and the town of
and the
Cottage
town
City,
of Cottage City,
and support
and support
the Constitution
the
the
Constitution
Constitution
and laws thereof,
and laws
and laws
thereof,
thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill
to the best of my
to the
skill
best of my skills
and judgment,
and judgment,
and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality
without
without
partiality
partiality
or prejudice,
or prejudice,
or prejudice,
execute the office of,
execute the office of
execute the office of
and I believe you need to state your position. So,
Commissioner at Large
thank you,
Cottage City Commissioner Ward 1,
thank you. According to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and laws of this state
and laws of the
and
state
laws of this state
and the town of Cottage City.
and the town of
and the
Cottage
town
City.
of Cottage City.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. We have our two newly sworn commissioners. I thought we had to pick the new chairperson.
Yes, so you asked if there are any nominations for the position, office of chair.
Are there any nominations for the position office of chair?
Commissioner Givens, I nominate Wanda Wheatley.
There a second?
I'll second.
The motion was made by Commissioner Givens. I believe it was seconded by Commissioner Armache.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Givens, aye.
Young, I.
Brooks, aye.
Amarche, aye.
Wheatley, aye. Motion passes. We also, I believe, need to elect the vice chair and secretary. Is that correct?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So next, is there a motion for, or I'm sorry, not motion, is there a nomination for vice chair? I nominate Commissioner Givens for vice chair if he accepts.
Givens, I'll second myself.
All right. So it's properly motioned and seconded. Call for the vote for Commissioner Givens to serve as vice chair. All in favor, say
Young,
aye.
I.
Givens, aye.
Young, I.
Brooks, aye.
Amarche, aye.
Wheatley, aye. Motion passes. Thank you, Commissioner Givens, for continuing to serve as vice chair. We need a nomination for the position of secretary. Is there a nomination?
Commissioner Givens, I nominate Commissioner Armache if she accepts.
Commissioner Armache, do you accept?
I accept. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a
Second.
second? That's Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Was that? Okay, thanks. So it's been properly motioned and seconded that Commissioner Amashay will serve as the secretary for the commission. All in favor, please say aye.
Brooks, aye.
Gibbons, aye.
Young, I.
Marche, aye.
Wheatley, aye. There were no nays or abstentions. The motion passes. And I didn't say I accept to serve as the chair, but I will accept. So we have our chair, which is myself, our vice chair, which is Commissioner Givens, and our secretary, which is Commissioner Amashay. So now we'll move on. Next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes and financials. And I believe this is approval for the month of April. I did have several edits that I sent in earlier today. Not sure if they were placed in the agenda tonight, but I did CC
I saw some
everyone.
edits. They're
Yes,
probably yours. I saw them.
Okay,
yeah, Wanda, your edits were done.
okay. Not sure if
And
the
I don't
rest
have
of,
any edits. excuse
okay.
me.
Did you agree with the edits that I made? Did anyone disagree?
No.
Okay. Let's see. Anyone else have any edits or comments in regards to the minutes for the month of April? We had, looks like we had 4 meetings that month. So there were quite a few minutes to review. Okay, hearing none. I will move on to the financial report. Can you bring that up on the screen, please?
Yes. Make it a little bit bigger.
Okay. Is Todd here?
Yes, I'm present.
Okay. Is there anything in particular you want to point out to us for the month of April?
No, I mean, everything looks as expected. Increase in fund balance is good, expenditures are good, revenue looks good. We'll pay more attention to the budgeted spending as we get through the last 2 months of the year. Consider if there's the need for any budget revisions to close out fiscal year 23.
Okay. Can we go to the ARPA document? I think that's the last page.
Mhm. Let me try to make this bigger. Think that's as big as I can make it.
Okay, thank you. So yesterday, we received a document from Sonia, I believe, that sent it to us yesterday. That was supposed to be well, this doesn't have the date at the top, but I think it was from July 1 of 2022 till April 2023. And it said that we only the total, I guess, it spent was $45,865.38. That can't be correct.
Let me see if I can find the email.
She
I
sent
don't
it
think
around.
everyone got that. I didn't.
I could have sworn that Carol sent it to all of us. It was sent around 3:17 p.m. yesterday.
Yeah, so she missed. The town manager and I talked Friday and asked about sharing this document in Excel, right? So reading it in PDF is challenging and tracking it is hard. So Sonia was supposed to send the Excel version of this and she sent something different as I opened the email now. So yeah. Understood where the confusion came from there.
Mhm.
She just gave the wrong document in that email yesterday.
Okay, so that document is, we should disregard the whole document.
100%. Yep. We wanted to give you the tracking, we do all this tracking in Excel and it's easier to manage there.
Mhm.
And she misunderstood what I was asking her to send. So I'll get that clarified tomorrow.
Okay, and will you have her or you send us the correct document?
Definitely.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You bet.
And I did get it from Carol. I just didn't get it directly from Sonia, which is why I said I didn't get it.
Well, I was explaining to Todd because I don't think Carol sent it back to Todd. And so I wanted Todd to know which email I was referring to. All right. So did anyone else have any questions in regards to the financial report? Hearing
I had raised
none.
a question earlier about the garden people, but I
Oh.
think that Denise said that she was satisfied with it the way it stood. So I don't think there's any need to raise that at this point again.
Okay, are you talking about the garden or the green team?
Well, I probably confused them with each other, and whichever one does the tree project.
That's the
um,
green team.
Okay, well, I think she wrote back and said that she was satisfied with how it came out in the end. Earlier, she'd asked for more, but I think everything was okay in the end.
Okay. Well, if there's no other questions or comments, is there a motion to approve the April minutes and the April financial report?
So moved as read.
Is there a second?
Second,
Nice.
Was that Commissioner Young that made the second?
yes.
Okay, thanks. The motion was made by Commissioner Givens to approve the financials and the minutes for April. It was seconded by Commissioner Young. We will call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Givens, aye.
Brooks,
Young
aye.
eye.
Summer Shea, aye.
Wheatley, aye. Hearing no nays or abstentions, the motion passes. And we can move to the next agenda item, which right now is public comments. Let's see, so we can open the floor to public comments at this time. Give you a second to get off mute if anyone has anything. Does anyone have their hand raised? I don't see anything in the chat. So, yeah. All right. We're gonna come back to public comments. If you think of something later that you want to ask or have a concern, we can definitely open the floor back up. But we're gonna move to the next item, which is the Prince George's County Park and Planning revisions to Port Town Sector Plan. And I'm not sure who's presenting that. Is that Josephine?
Yeah,
Okay.
Josephine and Arnaldo will be presenting, and our division chief has joined us in this call as well. And just a tiny correction, we are not Parks and Planning, we are Department of Planning doing the Port Town Sector Plan update.
So noted. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Thank you, thank you. So, yeah. Good evening, commissioners. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for putting us on the agenda and inviting us to present at your regular town hall meeting. This is Josephine Selva Kumar. I am Planner 3, the project manager for the Port Town Sector Plan update with the Community Planning Division with the Prince George County Planning Department. Before we kickstart with the presentation, I would like to just introduce our planning staff. We have our division chief joining us today.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Tony Phelps. I'm the division chief for the Prince George's County Planning Department Community Development Division.
Thank you, Tony. And I have our Deputy Project Manager, Arnaldo.
Good evening, everyone.
Thank you, Arnaldo. I'm going to turn it over to Arnaldo to kickstart the presentation, and I will take it from Arnaldo whenever he's done.
All right, thank you, Josephine. Next slide, please. So state law requires the regional district to be divided into planning areas. Prince George's County currently have 43 planning areas. The 43 planning areas are aggregated into 7 subregions. Port Town is located in the northwestern part of the county and adjacent to Washington, D.C. Port Town is within Council District 5 and in planning areas 68 and 69 in subregion 2. Next slide, please. A sector plan is a public policy document developed with input from the community, stakeholder, elected official, and other interested parties to create a long-term vision for a specific area of Prince George's County. A sector plan contains the county's policy for growth and preservation for a specific targeted area, as well as strategies that, if implemented, could achieve the planned vision over the next 20 to 25 years, as well as advance the goals of Plan 2035. Next slide, please. A sector plan provides policy guidance on several planning elements that impact everyday life. The sector plan is organized around these 8 elements from Plan 2035, the county's general plan. These include land use, economic prosperity, transportation and mobility, natural environment, housing and neighborhood, community heritage, culture and design, healthy communities, and public facilities. Breaking down a plan into these elements is a way to organize the complex factor and consideration that affect and are affected by growth and development. Next slide, please. The comprehensive rezoning process, also known in Prince George's County as the Sectional Map Amendment or SMA process, allows for changes to a section of the overall county zoning map in order to bring the zoning of properties in conformance with approved county plans and policies. By definition, it is a comprehensive rezoning of one or more properties pursuant to and intended to implement the recommendation of an area master plan or sector plan. A sectional map amendment may be prepared and reviewed after, or as most commonly occur, concurrently with an area master or sector plan. In this case, it will be done simultaneously with the Port Town sector plan. And now I will turn it over to Josephine to continue with the presentation.
Thank you, Arnaldo. Next slide, please. So what will a sector plan do? Since master and sector plans have a 20 to 25-year outlook, knowing what they will and what they will not do is important in developing most types of community plans. So a sector plan will define the vision and goals that determine what the area could look like within 20 to 25-year time period and are developed through extensive stakeholder and public engagement. And they also advance the Plan 2035 goals. So along with defining the vision of the goals, master and sector plans are structured around Plan 2035 policies and will incorporate them into sector plan where appropriate. And they also outline policies, strategies, and actions for the sector plan area that can be implemented through prioritization, coordination, and investment. In this case, the sector plan will also help us define a neighborhood center boundary through the process. And I will explain what a neighborhood center is in the upcoming slides. Next slide, please. What a sector plan will not do, it will not make guarantees on future development, but based on the visions and goals, it can make recommendations for projects and programs such as affordable housing or developing a general time frame for priority capital improvement projects. However, conditions change over time and some recommendations may need to be adjusted to achieve a similar goal. It is important to remember that sector plans are guiding documents, but they do not hold weight, especially during the development review process. At community meetings, we often hear comments about issues that a sector plan cannot directly address. So we wanted to highlight what the sector plan will not do. And it will not also attract a specific business such as, say, a Starbucks or Wegmans. That is up to the property owner or the developer and the property zoning classification. And the sector plan will not enforce or remedy code enforcement issues such as abandoned cars or illegal dumping complaints. However, it can recommend strategies for enforcement for agencies to consider. And it will not demand any specific type of businesses, but it can recommend that a use such as a grocery store is needed within the area, something like that. Next slide, please. So these are our goals with this Port Town Sector Plan and SMA update, to analyze the existing conditions and to re-examine the Port Town areas, which includes the Bladensburg, Coleman Manor, Cottage City, and Edmundston municipalities for redevelopment possibilities based on the current zoning, which got effective recently in April 2022, and to analyze the market conditions and environmental constraints. So this new plan will replace the 2009 approved Port Town Sector Plan with a new plan that identifies community-supported, achievable, realistic vision and goals, policies and strategies that support the existing and new development. And again, this plan will also help us define the Port Town's neighborhood center, which I'm going to talk about it in the next slide. And it will also help us identify the roles and responsibilities of public-private, institutional and nonprofit stakeholders who are going to be helpful in implementing the plan. And as Arnaldo mentioned, the SMA is going to go along with the Port Town Sector Plan, which would help in implementing the proposed zoning changes for the draft sector plan. Next slide, please. So what is a neighborhood center? Neighborhood centers are primarily low-density residential areas, and these areas have fewer transit options and offer neighborhood serving retail and office users. Plan 2035 has 8 regional transit districts and 26 local centers as focus of county's county's general plan. So as you can see, Port Towns is one of the identified local centers. And with this plan process, we are hoping to define the boundary of the neighborhood center within the Port Town Sector Plan area. Next slide, please. So this gives an graphic with the overview of the planning process. The timeline and schedule will be determined when we do the official initiation of the project. Right now, we are in the early stage during our background research and pre-planning activities. The next couple of slides will also show you the overview of the process, but I could explain a little bit more for you to give an understanding of all these steps involved with the planning process. Next slide, please. As mentioned earlier, we are in the pre-planning phase doing the scoping, which means we are doing the existing condition analysis. We are trying to identify the boundaries, talking to municipalities, doing our briefings. And also we are in the process of hiring a consultant to help with the goals and scope of the project and also help us with the community engagement process. And as I mentioned before, we are looking to initiate somewhere in fall, like mid of October. So with the initiation, we are supposed to put together an initiation package, which will include the goals, concept, guidelines, and public participation program. And that is submitted to the planning board for their approval. And then comes the, after that, the project is initially officially initiated. And then we have the plan preparation phase. The recommendations with the draft plan, the recommendations that we would be working on will be based on the existing conditions analysis, and also having the plan 2035 recommendations in mind. And also we would take into consideration the community input, all the stakeholder interviews, and with all that, the plan is prepared, and the planning board authorizes to release the preliminary plan to the public for their review. And then it goes to there is a joint public hearing with planning board and the county council. Before the joint public hearing, there should be a joint public hearing notice that should have gone out 30 days prior to the hearing. And then at the hearing, at the joint public hearing, we received the testimony from the public on the draft plan. And then the planning board adopts there is planning board adoption of the plan. And then finally, there is the county council approval. And if there are any amendments to the plan, if need be, there would be a second joint public hearing. And before the second joint public hearing, the notice should go out at least 15 days prior to the hearing. So this is to give you what is all involved in the planning process in any sector plan update. Next slide, please. This is a tentative timeline that we are looking into. Once the project is officially initiated, we would have more definite dates and time. Right now, we are in the pre-planning scoping phase, which started in winter 2022, and we are looking to initiate the project in fall 2023. And then the plan preparation phase, depending upon the complexity and the public engagement, that runs until winter 2025. And then we have the planning board, and then we have the joint public hearing, which is spring 2025, and looking for the adoption in fall 2025. And then finally, the district council approval in fall 2025. Next slide, please. So this is a proposed boundary. So as you could see, the dark red line is the council district boundary, and the dotted lines are the municipalities, showing all the 4 municipalities: Bladensburg, Edmundston, Cottage City, and Colmar Manor. And the circle is just a placemaker showing the neighborhood center boundary, which I just talked about in the previous slide. And as we work on this planning process, we'll have a definite boundary for that neighborhood center. Next slide, please. And this is just a map to show you with overlaying the Port Town's 2009 boundary over the proposed boundary to give you an idea. The dark red line is the 2009 boundary, and the yellow below underneath is the proposed boundary. Next slide, please. So these are the next steps. As I mentioned earlier, we are trying to hire a consultant to help with the planning process, to help with the scope of the work and public engagement process. And then we'll put together the initiation package, and then the plan. We are looking to officially initiate the project in fall, probably mid-October 2023. And then we would start the working on the plan preparation phase. Next slide, please. I think that's That's all. And here we have our contact information. Sarah Benton is the Long Range Planning Supervisor and the project facilitator for this project. She couldn't join us today. And I'm the project manager, and Arnaldo is the deputy project manager. So you have all our contact information. We are happy to take any questions, and throughout the entire process, we would be engaging all the municipalities and the community for soliciting input in preparing this plan.
Well, thank you, Josephine and Arnaldo and Tony for presenting this to us tonight. I had the pleasure of seeing this presentation prior to this, so I asked all my questions before. So
Yep, you
I,
did.
yeah. So I'm pretty comfortable with the answers that I received, but if anyone has any questions for the group tonight, please feel free to speak up. You have the floor, whoever wants to ask a question.
Yeah, Commissioner Givens, want to say that if we could really continue to really revisit the river, the Bladensburg Waterfront Park, the waterways over there, and get any assistance from you all, and as a part of the, I don't know if it could be part of the sector amendment plan, because it's clear that, you know, businesses build around bodies of water and people like to live around bodies of water, and that we have a great asset, but it's just not developed to the point. I mean, you can walk across it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So if we can, you know, continue to get the political support, and even in the sector amendment plan that would help push that, that would be very helpful for us, and to, you know, to create potential more development in that area. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you.
Commissioners Young, Armache, and Brooks, do you have any questions for Josephine or Arnaldo or Tony?
No,
I
but
have
thank you
no
for your
questions,
presentation.
Thank you. Yes, same. I have no questions, but thank you for the presentation.
No questions for me. Thank you so much for coming and presenting.
Okay, thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
Thank you. We look forward to working with you.
Same here. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, so next up is old business, which is the waste collection service contract, and the company is Zero Waste. So is this the contract in front of us?
Yes. So the commission previously considered 3 companies to provide waste collection services to the town. And you all had decided on Zero Waste Services, and you directed me to check references, which I did, and they were all very favorable. I have contacted them just to make sure you know, they are in good standing, and I have received verification of that with the state. So this agreement drafted by our town attorney would engage them for a period of 3 years. The cost of the contract, if I can find it, is $72,262.28 annually. And a monthly fee or surcharge of $450.
I have
And
a
they're in agreement
question.
with this contract? I'm sorry.
Yes,
I-
I'm sorry.
I have a question. It says for 366 homes. Does that include the townhouses?
Yes, it includes all the homes.
Is there a list of the streets in the contract?
No, we will provide that when the contract is executed. And
Okay,
we will provide, you know, we will discuss with them their route and maps and everything before the contract is executed.
Okay. Commissioner Young, I think you wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, a couple of questions. One, they have agreed with this contract as written?
Yes, I have shared it with Mr. I can't think of his name right now. I apologize. Kenyon,
Oh, that's okay.
and it is agreeable to him. And he's just eager to hear back from us.
That's great. And I assume we don't cover the towers, that's right?
No, we do not.
No.
It's a private government.
Okay. Right, that's what I thought. I know that number sounds pretty close, if not absolutely right. So if someone has checked it out, I'm willing to take their word for it.
Okay.
This is Commissioner Brooks. I had a quick question. So on page 1 and 2, it says 359 homes,
Okay, that's
but then on
probably a
page 3 it says,
typo.
okay, I just want
Yeah,
to
it
make sure.
should be
Thank you.
366. I apologize.
Oh, that's all right. Thank you.
Good catch.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
So they're doing the yard waste too?
Yes, they will provide the same services that we are getting currently. So that will continue.
And
Yeah, well-
for people to know, what'll happen is on recycling day, Bates will still come through the community and do the recycling because they have the contract with the county. And for the recycling and so they don't do they won't be able to do they won't be doing our recycling. I yield back.
Yes, I think we were clear on that at the last discussion. I do have a question though. What's their policy for collection on holidays? Is that in the contract?
Yes, we will spell out what the holidays are and in terms of what notification and how the service will be adjusted to allow for holidays, and we provide them a list of all of the recognized holidays, all the holidays that are recognized by the town.
I think the list is in the contract
It is.
when I read it earlier.
You are correct.
So they're doing yard waste and trash collection and
In
my
bulk.
commission, and they're doing bulk?
Yes.
I thought Bates had bulk for the county.
No, they don't. Just their contracts.
Just the recycle?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So do we have to call them? Like we had to call, or do we still continue to just put the bulk trash out on the Wednesday?
We will continue just to put the bulk trash out on Wednesday.
Is there a limit to how many pieces we can set out?
Well, unless the commission changes it, it'll still be the 4, and that's what I put forth to them. So that has been what the policy had been. We're not changing that policy in that regard. So.
Okay. All right. Any other questions in regards to the contract?
And I don't know if I said it already, the term of the contract is 3 years with the option. We have the option to renew it for 2 subsequent years if we choose to.
At the same rate?
Correct.
Is there any further
Excuse me.
discussion?
I had one more question. What day did you say the recycling is?
You stumped me
With
now.
Bates?
The young,
Recycling those on Wednesday.
Yeah, the schedule won't change.
Well, the reason I ask is because on page 2, it says that our new contractor is going to pick up bulk trash on Wednesday between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. So is there a
That's the same as we're
conflict
doing
there?
now. That's the same thing we're doing now. Bulk trash picked up on Wednesday. Recycle is picked up on Wednesday.
So I don't, I mean, I guess if they're both there, they just follow one after the other, I guess. Okay.
Any further discussion? Can you scroll down or scroll up to the amount of the contract again?
Oh, hold on. Wait, where was
So
I?
we have to make those corrections on,
Yes.
I think it was page 2.
Yeah. And it's
Did
Mr.
someone go out and count them, or how did we come up with the 366?
I was provided that number by Public Works.
That's the same number, I believe, based off of our contract with, our present contract with Bates.
Oh, great. Okay, thanks. That seems
Okay.
right. Yeah, anyway.
Is there a motion to approve the contract with Zero Waste
Correct.
for $72,262.28 annually for a total of 3 years with the option to extend for 2 at the same rate?
So moved. Commissioner Young.
Commissioner Young, you're making the motion? Okay. Is there
Right,
a
I
sec?
said so moved.
Okay, I didn't hear you. Is there a
I'll
second?
Commissioner
that-
Amashay.
Armache, okay. The motion has been made by Commissioner Young and seconded by Commissioner Armache. Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Commissioner
Commissioner
Brooks,
Young,
aye.
aye.
Point of order. Are we establishing the cost and the term of the what's name in the contract and during the vote, during the motion? Have we established
Yes.
that?
I did
Wanda said
read
that,
the,
and I,
yeah,
No, obviously the term too, for a term of,
He
I
did.
okay.
did, I
3
did
years.
say
Okay,
the
my
term.
apologies, and yes, aye, Gibbons aye.
Okay, everyone was talking at the same time. Could we start over and maybe go one at a time? We'll start with Ward 1.
I don't,
oh, aye.
Ward 2.
Aye.
Ward 3 is abstaining. Ward 4.
Gibbons, aye.
At large.
Aye. Brooks, aye.
The motion passes with 4 yeas, 1
what?
abstention, and no nays.
Commissioner Gibbons, can I ask why did you abstain? What
Sure,
was your rationale?
sure.
Apologize for
Your
not
audio is really bad, but I can hear what you're saying.
Yeah, there's something wrong with your audio.
Yeah, your audio is really bad. I'm abstaining because I did not know that we had agreed to
No,
do
I
it.
was asking her what was Commissioner Wheatley's reason for staying?
Yeah, I was getting ready to
I didn't hear
say,
you. You said
I was getting ready to say that I'm abstaining because I didn't realize we were signing a contract for 3 years with an option for 2 years. I thought in our discussion that we had said we were gonna do a trial basis, maybe for a year or 2 to see if it works out and then, maybe extend the contract further. I'm not familiar with this company and I'm not saying that they're gonna do a bad job or a great job. I just don't know. So I'm abstaining for now. I may change my mind,
okay.
but I'm abstaining for now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. And just a point of order, just so people know, if the if the contract company doesn't live up to the requirements of the contract, then you have a right to exit the contract based on the breach. But that's just a matter of just so that you'll kind of be aware of.
Yeah, there's always a way to break a contract, but I'm just going to abstain. All right, next on our agenda, tot lot fence. I'm not sure who's taking that. Is that Carol or Greg?
Greg?
Yeah, I can do it. Can you allow me to share my screen?
Yes, one moment.
Wait a minute, stop. Hold up. This agenda in front of us does not match the agenda that's on the website.
Haven't made any changes. Perhaps Brittany did, because the tot lot was on there. I don't know what happened to it.
Yeah, but I don't see it on this agenda in front of us.
Yeah, you're right. And I didn't notice that because I didn't take it off.
Well, do you want to continue with the tot lot discussion?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Greg, your co-host now.
Excuse me. This is Commissioner Young. It is on the agenda that goes with the announcement
Yeah.
under 6B. So I don't know what we're looking at that doesn't have it on there.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to it either because I sent that out and I didn't take it off. So
Where did you get this agenda
6
from?
this is from the page that has the web on the web. So I did not remove it. When I sent it to you all, it was on there. So, and I didn't catch it until now. That is
Yeah,
not-
but it's on the website because that's the agenda that I'm using. I'm using the agenda from the website. I'm not using the one that you have on the screen.
Yeah, I copy and
Right.
paste from the website.
Somehow it got dropped
Okay,
because it's not there.
okay.
Greg,
there's
you want to
6A, B,
start?
and C actually.
Okay.
Right, yeah, and I didn't see C up there.
All right, I'll go back.
Mhm.
If something got dropped off.
Okay, you might want to use the one from the website instead. Greg, you want to give us these numbers?
Yep. So the commission at the last meeting decided that aluminum will probably be most efficient for the tot lot. Two of the companies provided their pricing. The second company, which is CLM Home Improvements, theirs is the lowest, is $18,200. Can you see the screen? Is my screen sharing?
Yes, we can see
Yes.
your screen.
Okay, so this was the fence here that the commission really liked. This is what both companies are providing, this type of fence, the commercial style of it, so it'd be heavy duty. And then CLM, which is the lowest one, their 6-foot fence for the back part where the resident houses facing the or on the side of the back of the top lot. They will provide a privacy fence in vinyl. The privacy fence doesn't come in aluminum, so they would do vinyl. If you do get the aluminum one that looks similar to this, it's very, very, very costly. So they gave us the option to put the vinyl on the back of it. The other cost was from Long Fence. They're providing for $29,442 with a white vinyl 6-foot fence on the back, and then $29,664 with a chain link with the vinyl slats in the in between the chain links, which looks like this. So they'll give us the aluminum that we want with either this in the back 6 feet high or with this in the back 6 feet high.
Okay, that's for the privacy fence for the person that lives next to the tot lot.
Right. And they said that I asked them why they couldn't give us this in black. They said that they don't get them in black, they only get them in white. But CLM, they get theirs in black.
I think I
And
like
this,
the black. I like that black. I
so
don't like the white.
you'll have this black going across, and then you'll have this going along the rest of the top lot at 4 feet.
Yeah, I think if we're gonna do it, we need to do one color. I don't think we should have white here and then black somewhere else. I think it should all be the same color. That would be my preference. But you can continue.
So with those
excuse me.
prices, uh-huh.
For some reason, I'm being dropped off. My audio, which I get through my phone, I keep getting dropped. And so I missed the last thing you were talking about. Is the one you're talking about the cheaper one?
What was the last thing you heard?
Well, I don't remember the last thing I heard before I got dropped off, but when I got back on, you were talking about CLM.
Okay.
Having both in
Both in black.
black.
So right. So they can give us this one right here. Would be the 4 foot part of the fence, and then the back of the fence where 6 feet will be the all black privacy and vinyl. And they are the cheapest.
And how much
one.
is that?
They're the
Oh,
cheapest
good.
one.
Okay.
They're 18,200.
Good. Okay. Thank you. Hopefully I won't
And
drop off again.
they the house, they did a house in Cottage City already that I noticed this week over on Parkwood, Mr. Edwards' old house, I believe it is, that now has a wooden fence up. They put that fence in.
It's nice too.
So if the commission wanted to move forward with the top lot fence in aluminum, I recommend that we go with CLM Home Improvements at 18,200.
And you said they're the cheapest. You said they're the cheapest.
Yeah.
Frame to
Commissioner Givens, your audio is real bad. Couldn't hear nothing you said.
You might
I
want
said,
to
what's
call.
the time? What's the
Okay.
time for assembly?
Nobody can give me a time at the moment. They're thinking 2 weeks to actually do it before starting. I couldn't get a time frame until we agreed to do it, and they could put us on the schedule.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you saying CLM is the cheapest and they can do the privacy fence in black. They're the
Yes.
only ones that can do it in black.
Yes.
Okay.
And that 2 weeks is based on when they get material, because they have to order material. Once they get the material, they should be able to install it in less than in no more than 2 weeks.
So Metro Fence didn't give you a price?
Metro Fence did not give me a price. They were working on it, and it's been weeks, and they still haven't sent me anything. And I talked to them 3 times this week.
And Ornamental Iron, you couldn't get anything from them?
Ornamental Iron only does iron.
Okay. Okay.
The thickness of the aluminum, is that was that to your standard?
Yes, they're all commercial grade. They gave me a price for the standard grade the first time, and then they redid it for me with commercial grade.
Thank you.
This is Commissioner Brooks. I just had a quick question on longevity. I've seen some of these fences, not the aluminum, kind of cracking, broken, and everything. Did they give you kind of an idea of how long it would last?
They didn't give me an idea, but the aluminum, both companies, said that if they made a recommendation, they would go with aluminum versus the vinyl. Wood was put out and chain link was really kind of not an option. We had prices for it, but the commission, rather had aluminum, something sturdier and close to iron. And aluminum was the closest thing that we can get to iron that would be sturdier and give us a longer, span of, longevity.
Vinyl was the one I was thinking that I often see they're cracked and pieces are missing. Thank you
Right.
for that.
Right. And I think Commissioner Givens had brought that up at the last meeting, that vinyl can get cracked and, become an issue. So
What's the warranty on the fence?
they have not shared a warranty or anything. They just gave me the quote so far.
Okay, but shouldn't it come with a warranty?
Yes. Yeah, even on
As-
on their quote, it doesn't have a warranty or nothing on it yet. But before we sign anything or move forward with anything, we will find out what the warranty is. I'm not sure, Commissioner Givens, if you know how warranties work with fences.
Nah, but it's gonna have probably some type of standard, typical, probably 1 year. They're not gonna give you anything super long. Yeah, again, it'll have that in the contractual aspect of it. And I believe, don't we still have to send that through Kevin to get the contract reviewed?
Correct.
Thank you.
Anything else you wanna let us know tonight, Greg?
Nope, that's pretty much it. If the commission wishes to move forward with this, we just need a vote, and I can get them to start the contract process so we can get that over to Mr. Best, and the town manager can sign off on it.
I'm ready to move forward.
Okay, so this contract is 18,000, right? So the town manager can sign it, or the chair or somebody needs to sign it? Who's signing this contract?
Well, whoever is designated to sign it. You can, if the commission designate you or the chair, town manager, or both, doesn't really. We need to have another meeting to go and sign it,
Is there a motion approve this recommendation for the tot lot fence?
So moved. Commissioner Amashay.
I'll second it. Commissioner
Okay.
Young,
Okay, so the motion was made by Commissioner Amashay, seconded by Commissioner Young. Call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Amashay,
Young,
aye.
aye.
Brooks,
Whately, aye.
I think I heard Demetrius say he was in favor before. Are you still there, Demetrius?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got signed off, but yeah. Did the motion go through with the indicating the bid awardee and the cost of the project?
No, no one said the cost.
Yeah, we have to establish who's awarded and the cost of the project, and then the make the motion. That's part of the motion.
Commissioner Amashay, you want to amend your motion?
Sure. I move that we reward the fencing contract to CLM Home Improvements for the installation of, this is for both of the fences, correct? The one that's
Correct.
going to be solid. So for installation of a solid aluminum fence, that's going to be the back border of the tot lot, and the black rail style fence around the outer perimeter for the amount of $18,200.
I don't think the back one is aluminum, right? The one around the
Fine.
front is
Yeah, it's fine.
aluminum,
was
but the
vinyl.
one along the back is vinyl.
Okay.
Commissioner Givens, I second with the correction.
All right, call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Givens, aye.
Young eye.
Amarche, aye.
Brooks, aye.
Wheatley, aye. There were no nays or abstentions. The motion passes. All right, we can move on to the next item. Town hall renovation quotes. Is that Carol or Greg?
Yeah, that's me. Okay, so I have gotten quotes for both flooring and painting. I think there's even another person who's gonna give me a quote for flooring, but this is what I have gotten thus far. So I'm gonna start with Michael and Sons. So they quoted me.
We
This is
can't
for,
see your screen.
oh, okay, one moment, sorry about that. Can you see it now?
Yes,
So for Michael and Sons, they quoted, which was the highest bid, 15,900 for the flooring. And then for the painting, I'm sorry, I got that reversed. They quoted 15,900 for the painting. And then for the flooring, it was 10,500. Now this is just for labor because we will be purchasing the materials, the flooring and the painting. So understand these quotes are for labor. Okay.
Can I, is it too early to ask for point of clarification?
No, ma'am.
For painting, what exactly? That's a pretty high price for painting. Is that for the entire, interior
Yes.
of town hall?
Yes, you're right. It is high. They were the highest
That's-
quote.
Yeah, that's really high for a
Yes.
painting bid.
Yes, it is.
It's not that big. I mean, town hall, even including every inch of the whole place, it's like not that much bigger than a house. But
Right.
okay, thanks for clarifying. And that's no exterior, right? We're talking about all interior?
Interior.
All right, thank you.
Right. So the next quote I have is from Capital City Floor and Painting. The owner just happens to be a Cottage City resident. He was referred to me by a contractor friend of mine. So for Capital City Flooring, to install the flooring, it would be $12,950. Okay. Now I think the measurement of the flooring is a little over 2,000 square feet. Now in theirs, they put 2,554. I think their number is a little high based upon the fact that they put in 2,554, because I did give them the measurements that Commissioner Givens provided. So I think there may need to be some adjustments on that, but correct, to clarify, labor only is 10,000. For the painting, 10,440.
Carol, I think you got it
How-
back according to the
Did I
scope.
reverse it?
Excuse me. How much was Michael and Son again?
For the painting,
Mm-hmm.
15,900.
And theirs is 12,950.
Yes,
Excuse me. And what was Michael's for the floor? 10,000.
10,900. 10,500 maybe.
Can we bring up the painting on the screen?
Excuse me.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Can you just give me the
I was asking if we could bring up the
I'm sorry,
painting on
Commissioner
the
Young.
screen.
Can you give me the number again for Michael and Son?
Go back. So for Michael and Sons, the painting is 15,900.
Mm-hmm. And the floor is 10,000.
It's 10,500.
Okay, 500. I thought it was 900. Okay.
I was mistaken. Can't read my own writing.
That's for the flooring.
Correct. The 10,500 is for the flooring from Michael and Sons.
Would it
And how
be
much was the
possible to get
painting?
a quick overview, like Mr. Pinkney had before, like total cost by company? Not tonight, but any night.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Thank you.
So those were the two I had gotten. There was a third one, DMV Home Improvement, just bear with me. Okay, so for DMV Home Improvement, just for the labor, again, for the flooring, it was $4,300.
$4,300 labor for the floor?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
so,
which company
yeah.
is that?
This is DMV Home Improvement.
so let me help you guys out with something. The other companies are way out of the ballpark. Flooring should be, insulation for vinyl flooring should be somewhere in the area of $2 to $3.50 a square foot. So I'm not sure why, Michael and Sons was at 5 or 550, and one is at 6. Somebody's at 6. Whoever said that high number is at 6, because it's only like 2,000 square feet. It's a little bit more than 2,000 square feet. So 4,400 or whatever that was is pretty much in a general area of what vinyl flooring installation should cost. I yield back.
Okay. So in their quote, they indicated 4,300 just for the vinyl flooring, but then as part of that, they put 1,500 in terms of removing the existing rubber baseboards. So that their total for the flooring was 5,800 in total.
Okay, so she's not explaining the other part of it. Okay, so let me help you with that. The flooring is the flooring. The baseboard are something totally different. The baseboard that we anticipated putting back, someone apparently, I'm not sure if they shared this with Michael and Sons or not, but the baseboard we intended to put back, as discussed, was a wood baseboard. I think a 3.25, 3.5 inch wood baseboard, because the vinyl baseboard always comes loose and comes unstuck and stuff like that. So they charge $1,500 to put all of the baseboard back in. That's an option if, I mean, you know, Greg has indicated that they're capable of doing it along with myself, but I would say for $1,500, it's probably worth them just doing it, you know, for that cost. But I yield back.
And then for the painting, their quote was $6,600. And again, this is painting the entire town hall, including the ceilings, the interior only. And the flooring is for all of the town hall except for the large town hall meeting room. We are not doing that floor, but we're doing everywhere else except for the bathrooms and the large town hall meeting room.
So we're painting the building, and that includes the police department, the admin,
Kitchen,
the kitchen,
hallway.
and we're in the hallways, but we're not painting the bathrooms
No, because they're tile.
all the way up to the ceiling is tile?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that the second company, how much are their quote for the floor again? Was it 10,000 as well?
10,440.
And what's the name of that company?
It's Capital City. Capital City Floor and Painting.
Well, it sounds like based on the numbers, the last company is the cheapest. The was it DMV?
Yes.
Commissioner Wheatley,
Mm-hmm,
can I ask a question?
sure.
Is the scope of service the same for all three of them?
Yes, I gave them all the same description.
I'm talking about what they're providing, like, are they stripping the floors? Is some of them stripping and one not stripping? Because that's the only way that I can imagine that their price for the other two may be so high and the other one may not be, because they may be including taking up the existing tile and the other one may be just putting down the vinyl floor.
No, I gave them all the same description of what we wanted done. So the quotes were based upon that.
So you'd like for us to make a decision tonight?
Yes, I think so, because we want to lock this in to get the work started. I am waiting for one more quote, gentleman that Commissioner Givens recommended. He couldn't get me a quote by today, but he could get it to me tomorrow. And I think based upon my conversation with him, his numbers are reasonable.
Is it going to be cheaper than DMV?
It may be about the same.
If it's going to
Whatever
be
you
the
guys do.
same,
Yeah, if it's gonna be the same, then we might as well go ahead and move forward with DMV. I'd imagine.
excuse me. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. I agree. We might as well move forward with them. I'm definitely not going with Michael and Son or both of the other company, Capital City. They all seem very high.
I agree.
And one of the other things that we want to make sure, and I think Greg has a point that we need to make sure that we get clarified, and how we need to do it. I mean, as far as to ensure, is he taking that floor, the current tile up? It has to come up in the kitchen. There's no question. You could conceivably over over the tile, but because it's so bad in the kitchen that it's coming up, it's too loose and stuff like that, you actually have to take it out. And so I don't know if you just continue to try to proceed through the rest of the taking out to proceed to the rest of the what's the name, is that included in the price, or did he plan on just going over all of it? You know, you got to make sure that's clarified though.
Right.
Yeah, because it's labor, right? So if it means that if it means that all of them were looking at, no, we're going over the top of this, then we probably need to look at, okay, well, we're gonna have to tear this out, because I can imagine what y'all gonna charge us to tear it out, you know. But I don't know. I mean, again, I want to make sure it's clarified, you know.
Well,
I'm ready to do what you guys ready to do it. I'm ready to go.
Well, when I described it to them, it was going over. So I guess it begs the question of, in the kitchen, is that something we would want to do, or hire someone to do in terms of removing the floor?
No, we could take the kitchen out. So what happens is, and it's really not that big of a deal, but you could, I mean, like, I'm like a perfectionist in it, you know. You could go over it, stop at the doorway of the kitchen and go into the rest of it, and not skip a beat. No one will probably notice a difference, but I know the difference. And so, because I'm just saying, the kitchen absolutely 100% has to come out, but because the tile is so thin, the tile it's not even a quarter of an inch thick. It's probably 3/16, but that's the difference in the height of the flooring. So it'll be a 3/16 shorter in the kitchen than it would be throughout the rest of it, which is not that big of a deal. But I want to make sure that everybody knows what's going on, and you know, like, well, nobody told us that. You know what I'm saying? So
Right. So when I described the job to all of them, it was with the understanding of going over it. Now, I guess you and I hadn't had the conversation of removing.
Well, that's not a problem. We can pop out. I mean, we have to. Okay, so here's what has to happen in the kitchen. We got to remove the cabinets, or the cabinet, the big center thing, right? That's got to come out, right? So when that come out, there's a big hole in the middle of the floor, meaning that there's no tile under there. Okay, so we're gonna have to, and the other stuff is all loose, and it's just a flat scraper. It's not that complicated. It'll take less than 30 minutes to get it all done. And you can't put the floor in until we put the cabinets in anyway. See what I'm saying? So when we go to put the cabinets in, we could just go ahead and rip it out, you know, and then just stop at the doorway, and you'd have a 3/16, which none of you would probably know it, but I know it, you know. So, but I figure I don't want to be dishonest and not tell you. I yield back.
Okay. So
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So, in regards to the kitchen, you were saying that whole floor needs to come out, but then the cabinets need to go in first before you put the new floor down. So the new floor is not going underneath the cabinets, it's just going around the cabinets.
Yeah, because so what
Gotta
has to
have room to
happen?
breathe.
Yeah, no, what has to happen is the only time that you go under the cabinets is if you have a solid attached floor, i.e., if you're doing tile, you don't have to go under the cabinets, but you can, you know. But why would you go under the cabinets? You're just wasting tile, right? I don't waste tile. No one wastes tile. So, but you could do that. Or if you had hardwood floors, then you would definitely go under it, because, you know, but other than that, when you have a floating floor, with these floors, vinyl floors, they're floating floors. They're not actually attached to the substrate. So if you ever change the tile, or if you had something you had to repair, well, it would be under the cabinet, and it would actually be the weight of the cabinet and the countertop will be pressing down on it, and it would flip the other part up. That's why you don't go under the cabinets.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you for explaining that. That helps me in other areas, so thanks.
That's why it's good to have me aboard.
Yes. Well, I have a question about the removal of the tile. Do we need to be concerned about asbestos?
No, asbestos was in the 60s, or before. This building wasn't built in 1987. You were not allowed to have asbestos, sell asbestos tiling at that during that time. And if it was asbestos, you be done got it by now, because them tiles been up in the kitchen. No, it's not, they're not asbestos.
Okay. All right.
I have one question. Commissioner Givens, are you gonna do a transition in the kitchen to the hallway and to the main town hall? Will be like a
Well, the transition would come off the town hall meeting room. There's a transition that'll be there. It's into the kitchen, into
hallway.
the current meeting room, yeah. But as far as going from the hallway into the hallway, no, it'll be seamless. You're talking about 3/16. The tile is no more than 3/16 of an inch
Okay.
thick, and it's really unnoticeable. I was just telling you guys because I know, because you know what I'm saying, you know. So, but
Yeah,
it is a lot of work to tear it all out, though.
Yeah, I was worried about the transition because of trip hazards, but yeah, you
No,
understand what you're saying now.
yeah, it's seamless.
It's
You won't
seamless.
even be able to tell.
All right,
Because
thank you.
most floors, to be honest with you, they're not actually level or flat. There's usually some type of difference, and it's hard to get it totally flat. So you're gonna have some flexation, and it has padding under there to underneath there too. So.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, we just need to let you know which company we want to go with, and then you'll make sure that they understand the full scope of the job.
Yes, I will do that.
I'm going with, my preference would be DMV.
Yeah, you can go ahead and make the motion, and we can go ahead and because the only time that you would typically go is you'd have to explain it if you go above, you know, what the lowest bid is. You'd have to kind of give a rationale, which people we've done before, but you know, but I agree, DMV.
Do other commissioners agree with DMV? And I need a full total for that contract
Okay.
before I make this motion,
Understand.
or anyone makes the motion. Commissioners Young, Armache, and Brooks.
Commissioner Brooks, I agree.
This is Commissioner Young. I'm sorry, no offense to anybody, but I'm abstaining on this one.
Okay. We haven't made the motion yet.
Mhm. So the total is $12,400.
Yes, for the company name is DMV Home Improvement.
Yes.
And DMV is the one that had the lowest rates of all of the proposals we saw. Is that correct?
Correct. Now, for some reason, when I talked to them, they misunderstood what I said. I will bring it back to you. But I did describe the job, the same to everyone, but I will make sure that they understand what we're asking for, just to make sure.
Okay, so, I'll make the motion for, the town of Cottage City to go into a contract with DMV Home Improvements in the amount of $12,400 to do the floors and the painting of the town hall, excluding the big meeting room and the bathrooms,
For labor only.
for labor only. Thanks.
Commissioner Gibbons, I second that motion.
Well, wait, the painting is in the big town hall, but not the flooring. So,
I thought you said they weren't painting that room.
yeah, they're painting that room, but they're not messing with the flooring.
So why are they painting that room? Because that room, to me, the paint looks fine.
It
You just
does?
want to have it all the same color or something?
Yes.
Okay. Because I know that room had been painted not too long ago. All right. I need to amend my motion then. to go into a contract with DMV Home Improvements in the amount of $12,400 for labor only, and that is to install the flooring in the town hall, excluding the big meeting room, and to also paint the town hall throughout, excluding the bathroom. Is that correct?
Yes.
Commissioner Givens, I second the motion.
The motion has been made by Commissioner Wheatley and seconded by Commissioner Givens. Call for the vote. Those in favor, say aye.
Givens, aye.
Wheatley, aye.
Omer Shea, aye.
Brooks, aye.
Abstentions?
And
I'm sorry.
I'm abstaining
I'm
to the extent,
I'm sorry, I went out of order, Commissioner Young. Nays, those, we have 4 ayes. Any nays? Any abstentions?
I'm abstaining to the extent that this is using ARPA funds.
Okay. So we have 4 yays and 1 abstention. The motion passes.
Thank you.
New business mid-tech pilot program.
Yes, this was, the commission had discussed this during, the work session, where MidTech wanted the town to participate in a pilot program that would piggyback on the red speed system we are using for speed cameras. And it will provide, it will use sound waves to monitor gunshots and provide, warning systems in the event of a public emergency. It will be at no cost to us. It would be for a period of 9 months. Now, we would have no obligation to purchase it at the end. And it's just a pilot project.
This was the discussion we had last week at the work session, correct?
Correct.
All right. I'm fine with doing the pilot program. As long as it's not costing us
Could I just
anything.
could I clarify something? Does this include it does not include the speed cameras, or it does include the speed cameras?
The speed cameras, we are already contracted with Red Speed for that. It just piggybacks on that technology that will already be in place, if that makes sense. It'll just be utilizing that technology. MidTech is like the sister company to Red Speed, if that makes sense. So
Well, when it was described what they're actually going to be doing,
Mhm.
did I not hear something? And I don't think I heard anything about the actual speed issue. You talked about gunshots and so forth.
Right,
What's
it's
the
not using,
relationship to the?
because we get in the AV system, which is a camera system for security purpose on Bladensburg Road. So it's using that same technology for the AVA system, which is AI, artificial intelligent cameras on Bladensburg Road. So it's using that system to tap into the gunshot system that is going to be the pilot program. So it's one system, but it's just an add-on.
But it's based off the cameras on Bladensburg.
It's not
So
speed cameras.
So it's
gonna
not
be the-
interior of the town.
No, it's exterior.
Okay. Thank you.
This is Brooks. I had a real quick question. On the pilot program, this isn't going to be one of those, hey, at the end of 30 days, we send you a check, right? They'll contact us to see if it's something we want to continue with.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and what happens is, they would come to us before the 90 days to ask if we want to continue it or not. and give us the pricing for it. And if we don't want it, they'll remove it. It's very easy to install and take out. So it's not like, major tasks of construction and stuff like that. It pretty much just remove it and go.
Perfect, thank you.
And it's more than 90 days, it's 9 months, and we will have
Sorry.
written agreement with them as well, just to, make sure that we don't pay anything and that, the terms are agreeable to us.
I'm sorry, guys. I was on mute and I had made a statement, so I'll repeat it. Do we need to take a vote or can we do this by consensus since we're not spending any funds, any town funds on this pilot program?
Well, why not just take a vote and be done with it?
Yeah.
Anyone want to make a motion that we do this test mid-tech pilot program?
Commissioner Givens, I'll make a motion as read previously.
Is there a second?
Commissioner Brooks, second.
The motion has been made and seconded. We will call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Givens, aye.
Brooks, aye.
Amarche, aye.
Wheatley, aye. Any nays? Any abstentions? Commissioner Young, you did not vote. Is your audio not working?
I'm sorry, I got dropped again. Are you asking me?
Yes, everyone else has voted.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to abstain on this one too, for the same reasons that I explained when we earlier discussed the speed cameras.
Okay. I see that our town attorney has raised his hand, but there's a motion on the floor. Mr. Best, can your question or comment wait till after the motion has completed? Okay, you lowered your hand. Okay, cool. All right, we have 4 yays, no nays, but 1 abstention. The motion passes. Let's see what's next. Speed monitoring system use report. Is that something that we, who's reporting this out? Or is that just there for information?
Well, that's for information, but the chief will be talking about the monthly report for the photo enforcement program, since we have had a month of active use of it, just to give the commission a sense of the number of fines and projections in terms of revenue.
So we're moving on to C.
Yes,
Okay, the chief is taking that one.
yes.
Okay, next is red light camera collection services. Chief, you have the floor.
No. We're not moving on to C. We're still on I'm sorry. No, we are going to talk about the Cottage City speed camera monthly report for April.
Okay, that's why I asked.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Who's reporting on that?
I am, ma'am.
You have the floor.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Right now, we had just some adjustments on the cameras, so now they're more accurate. So next month we a little bit more citations collected, but right now we're looking at possibly around 4,800 approved citations for the month of April. And right now, what we're doing is we're pretty much trying to get like a close average. We're looking at probably 4,000 approvals per month. A lot of these violations are out-of-towners, people who transit through the town of Cottage City. Probably less than 1% are our residents. Most of them are out-of-state transit people coming through our town. We have several Marylanders being violated, as well as a few DC and Virginia. Just a very few Pennsylvanians coming through, but mostly it's going to be majority of Marylanders and Washingtonians. Right now, if we look at a projection of a monthly citation, we're talking about 4,000 estimated citations issue a month. Average collection is pretty much like 60%, which you're looking at 2,400 citations at a fine of $40. You're talking about $96,000 a month of revenue. Out of the $96,000 of revenue, approximately 60% is going to be coming toward us from Red Speed, giving us probably a rough estimate of $57,600 worth of revenue that's going to be collected and come to the town of Cottage City. If you divide that by 12 months, you're looking at $691,200 worth of revenue. That's not even talking about your late fees, as well as having a collection agency come on board to actually get some more of that percentage that we might not get if we don't have a collection agency. So it might go up to like 70% or a little bit more of collection of monthly citations. So we're looking at a ballpark of $691,200. The speed cameras are different than red light cameras. We have to adjust our budget to absorb some of this revenue. If not, the state will take back the overage. You only can carry no more than 10% of your budget. If it goes over that, it be turned over to the controller of Maryland, all the overage. So I'm just bringing that to your attention. So we probably need to have another meeting to try to adjust this into our budget for next year.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
So there was another document up on the screen prior to this document. What was that for?
That was our program summary for the month. We went live on the April 10th, but we were doing warnings. So it gave an idea of how much approved red pre-approval citations were, which was 4,754. But since then, we fine-tuned it during the warning period. So now it's more accurate in reference to less citations that are rejected. So those numbers will be a lot higher. But what I did was I lowballed it to 4,000 just to be on the safe side of an average that we would probably be bringing in for citations per month.
I have a question. So at where it says program summary, it says total number of citations issued is 793. Total number of payments processed, including partial payment, is 85.
As of that time of the report, which the report was pulled on April 30th, pulled that day. No, I'm not, sorry. May 1st, it was pulled May 1st. So we have citations coming in because you gotta realize that we have to send them the first notice. So notices have been going out this month. So you won't see really collections until probably June. We start seeing the normal collection rate coming in. But we're just talking about citations. Right now, some people paid up front when you got the mail, the letter in the mail, but some people wait to the second notice or the grace period off the first notice. But we still pass out notices on a daily basis. So during the month of April, we are sending letters out, but still haven't seen the return yet in reference to collections of the side of the fines.
And we have a collection company.
We have a collection company we want to discuss tonight that we want to vote on tonight to move forward with. That's gonna be up next, ma'am.
Okay.
I also have a question.
I was just about to say, are there any other
Sorry.
questions for the, this discussion?
Yeah, I have a question. Chief, the speed limit is what, 35 on
Excuse me?
Bladensburg? The speed limit on Bladensburg, is it
30.
35 miles an hour?
30. It's 30.
30? And so in order for them to get the ticket, they have to be going 40 or more?
42.
Pardon?
42 miles over. 12 miles over, 42.
42,
Yes, ma'am.
42, okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, 12 miles over. And we've been getting people clocked at almost, I think the fastest was like 60. So people moving, they hover between 45 and 48.
Okay, and then just to summarize again, the total number that have been tickets that have been done is represented in the 4,754, and then approved by the police, that's you, 2,989. That's a larger amount than the citations, the 793 issued as of the end of April. Am I understanding that right?
What happens is we have to approve it. The police department has to approve it. So RESB approves it first and comes to us, and then we have to approve it. So it's 2 eyes hitting each violation. So it's a process that goes through. And due to the fact that it's a new process, and due to the fact that we had to review this and make sure that all of us up to speed, those numbers are higher right now. So the police departments, we are, if you look at the second one, I think we sent another one in there, you'll see that our numbers of approved are just as much as approved by RESB. So this is one reading, and we have another reading that we pulled on, I think the 5th of May. And I think I sent that also. It should be on there. We probably can pull it up. But it shows that
the comparison,
I'm sorry, excuse
the
me.
comparison between the 793 and 85 up higher on the screen, and then down below that higher numbers. What's the difference in those again, if you could?
Yes, ma'am. What happens once we approve it? So what happens is RESB approve what they see that are violator. Okay, then it comes to us. Then Sergeant Hayes reviews it, and then she would go ahead and say, yes, it can, this person is a violator, and push it through, and she would hit it. Once she hits it, then they mail out a citation. So because it's the first month, you'll see the citations are behind a little bit because this is the first month. Once we go into the following month, you start seeing the numbers go up a little higher because more citations are being pushed out. So right
What
there,
is the 793 for? What's the 793?
those are citations that were mailed out after we approved it. So once we approved it, then it goes back to RESB, and RESB will go ahead and generate the actual citation and mail it out. So it shows that.
So it went up from 700, I'm sorry. It went up from 793 to 3,195?
No, ma'am.
What was the difference? What
No, ma'am.
explains the difference between those two?
Okay.
That's what I didn't understand.
The process is RESB would get the violations. They will review all the shots. They will go through their process of seeing that, you know, the tags match. We have a owner to these tags. The tags belong to the vehicle. Then what they do is they send it to Sergeant Hayes. Sergeant Hayes would get it. She will reviews it and types, yes, move forward with sending out a letter, the citation. So once they get that back to them, then RESB will submit a letter going out to the address of the owner of the vehicle. Right now, as of April 30th, that date on top, only 700 letters went out because the approvals had to be approved first before it could be mailed out. So right now, if I pull the report today, it'd probably be up to 2,000 letters mailed out as of today. But it's the point where it's a process. It's the point once Sergeant approves it, it goes over to RESB and RESB mails it out. So that 793 is how many citations were mailed out since April 30th. It's a new
Okay,
program.
so
It
Red
start- it
Speed
started
had
program.
Red Speed had a little over 3,000, and then Sergeant Hayes approved almost 2,000, and of those 2,000, 793 have gone out.
That's correct. Right,
Okay, thanks. Thank you. I appreciate that.
right.
It looks like for Bladensburg Road and 42nd Avenue, there's a discrepancy on what Red Speed approved and what our department approved. So
There's
they,
no
they-
discrepancy. It's
well,
no-
I'm saying it's a difference. They approved 1,500, we only approved 900.
Right. The reason why is because they approve it first, and then when it comes to us, then we have to go through each one and approve it. So it's going to be a lag time. It's the point where we have to approve it too. They approve theirs, and then what we're doing now is out that 4,000, we got to go through each one of those 4,000 and prove them individual. So it's going to be staggered a little bit. But right now,
So right
caught
now,
up.
we're behind.
No, right now we caught up. Right now we almost like we like 200 behind. So every day we get like 200 to 275. Right now we caught up to the point where we up to par, where we waiting for the next day. And sometimes when the weekends go, because our cameras stay on the weekends, she might get some like almost 2,000 citations she has to go through on Monday morning. But by time Tuesday and Wednesday, she caught back up to the point where every day probably like 375 to 400 citations she has to review.
But these two columns are never going to be the exact same.
No, because they had to approve it first, then me approve it.
Okay, any other discussion or questions?
Commissioner Givens, does Sergeant Hayes have to do it because she's a police officer, or is Angela allowed to do the approval?
Yes, with speed cameras, it has to be a police officer. Red light cameras can be a civilian.
Okay. All right, and with the speed camera, okay, there's another question I was asking behind that, but I forgot. Okay, go ahead then. Someone else can ask a question.
I have another question.
And then I have one
So how
after
much
you.
time? Yeah, so should I go ahead?
Yes.
Okay. So how much time is Sergeant Hayes spending on going through all these? It seems like that would take a lot of time.
Yes, she goes through it, but she has to do a test shot every day. But during the course of the week, she spends like 2 hours on it, sometimes longer. I'm the backup, so what I do is when she's behind, I'll get on and try to catch up. Because we're trying to make sure we use our time appropriately. But it's the point where it's a lot of citations we gotta go through. But at the same time, it's something that we try to get to the point where we get in a pace where we spend like no more than 2 hours a day on it, because we have 14 days per the validating date to actually submit. So that means if someone does something on the 1st of April, we have to make sure that that citation has gone through the process and approved by the 14th of April. So it gives us some time. So that means that if we have something come up, like I need to put her on a patrol for a whole day, we can skip a day or two, but it's the point where we have to get it caught back up. So we have 15 days grace period. It'll be 14 days grace period.
Thank you.
So I wanted to piggyback off of what Commissioner Young just brought up. So I heard you say that you're the sergeant's backup. Is anyone else assisting, any other officers assisting? Because it seems like maybe this is something that can be shared amongst the department.
Yeah, well, right now, we're trying to get a second person trained up. I think Marino, the reason why is because we had to have somebody there every day, and this person has to do a safety shot every day. So it has to be one person does a safety shot, which is a citation approval. That's every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. They have to come online and actually do a test shot. That's by law. And you want to have somebody that's there normally for at least majority of the time. Sergeant Hayes works 5 days a week. The other officers work 4 days and they rotate. So that means that, they can be a backup, but it can't be like the consistent one that's in charge of it. So yes, we're going to slide things through, and that's why I done do some of them. And once we get the other officer trained, that person be doing some also.
So that'll help you catch up.
We already caught up. We caught up. This is old. Was back in April 30th. We are caught up. We right now.
Well, you just said that you get like 200 a day. So I don't see how you can be caught up since every day you're getting more.
Yes, but what happens is last weekend I did like 1,000. She did 1,000 last weekend also. So we caught up. So like I said, we went through and caught everything up. So everything's caught up.
Okay, but what you're presenting tonight is not caught up.
No, this is from April 30th. We try to show a 30-day window. But like I said, you know, I can be happy to send a report to y'all from what we have year to date. I can send that to everybody tomorrow. That's no problem. And like I said, we did do this. Another one should be up here because I sent that over to the town manager. We should have another sheet like this, the 5th, showing that we caught up.
And you said that the person has to be online at 5 in the morning?
Yes, to do a test shot.
So you can do the test shot from home?
Yes, on the computer. And that's state law. We have to calibrate the system every day, 7 days a week. The speed cameras are totally.
I really think you should get at least one more officer trained.
Yeah,
That's a lot. That's a lot to ask of one person.
Yes. So like I said,
Can I ask another
Officer Marino's
question?
next one going to. Yeah, excuse me.
If when appropriate, I'd like to ask another question.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
What actually is involved when they go through them? What do they look at? And how do they make the determination that something is good or not good, et
Because
cetera?
the camera would test itself. What we do is we do a test shot. Once we do the test shot, it calibrates. Once the calibration is okay, then what we do is we certify the day. So every day it has to be a certified shot. Because
And when you say a test shot, what does doing a test shot involve? And how do they go through? One, what does a test shot involve, and how do they go through all the proposed tickets after they've done the test shot?
Just one test shot. It's the camera would take the test shot, and then what it does, it says accurate, calibrated. Once that shows us calibrated and accurate, it tells us itself. It has its own self-test on it. Once it says there's test and it's accurate and the everything is focused, then what happens is Sergeant Hayes or officer has to certify that day. So that means that after the test shot, all the violations that are caught on camera that day are certified, and that's what we have to take to court. So when we go to court to actually defend these citations, we have to show that a test shot was done every day.
Well, if all they have to do is see that a test shot was done, and then all the tickets are automatically approved, why does it take 2 hours or longer?
After you do the test
I was
shot,
thinking they went through each one individually.
You do. That's not a test shot. Going through individual, you're making sure that 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 you see a clear picture, that you got a tag shot, you got a shot showing that a point of movement. So from point A to point B has to show a point of movement. So you have to have 2 shots of that. You have to have a shot of the actual tag. And you have to be able to see the make and model of the vehicle. So those things
So
individual by every shot.
So they do the test shot, and then they look at the photos of all the cars that were caught or photographed.
That's
right?
correct. That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
This is Brooks. I have a real quick comment, and it's back to Commissioner Wheatley's point that this seems like a lot of work for one person, and I would be worried about pulling from patrols, if it does in fact bring in that much revenue, it may be worth looking at, you know, putting some of that revenue back into another officer. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for your comments. Chief, or did you have anything else you wanted to go over?
No, that's it. And like I said, we do the same thing for the red light camera. Red light camera, each shot has to be reviewed by an individual, but this one can be a civilian and it has to be done the same way. So we do the same thing with the red light camera that we do with the speed camera, except for you have more volume of speed than you do with red light cameras. I think we average something like 70 to probably 60, 70 citations a day for red light camera. Speed camera, a little bit more due to the volume of traffic that comes through. But like I said, once we get in the pace, 2 hours, you should be finished all citations every day, except for Monday, we probably spend a little bit more time, but we can spread that out over a week. And we're doing that right now. We're getting to a point where we're getting into a rhythm. Like I said, it's a new system. Once we get in a rhythm, we can go through a little bit quicker. But like I said, you know, we average between 275 to 300 citations a day. And like I said, you know, the weekends, we try to spread that out during the course of the week so we don't have people off the street too long. And we do have an option because of the added revenue to actually hire another officer if you do wish. Because if you look at the yearly estimate gross speed camera revenue, you're talking about $691,200 annual income a year that you have used toward public safety. So that could pay for another officer, or we can put it toward overtime to pay a person overtime and have more than one officer that can be a part of this process. So it doesn't interfere with patrolling.
All right, so do you want to discuss the next item, which I think is the red light camera collection services?
Yes. Now the collection service is not going to only be for red light, it's going to be for both red light and speed camera. With this new way of collections, because before we had the option to use the collection agency, but we didn't for some reason. I think Commissioner Gibbons said it was approved, but it never was put in to the works. But having collection agency is the way to go, because normally our vendors would go out and put 2 notices out, the first and second, and then Maryland violators automatically be flagged and sent over to motor vehicle for flagging to actually get that money later on when a person try to re-register their vehicle. But the out-of-state individuals that we have reciprocity like DC and Virginia, we don't really get that because, you know, they don't go through their motor vehicle and get flagged. So it's the point where having collection agency will actually help us get more of those citations taken care of. So right now we're trying to move forward with a collection agency to do both the speed camera and the red light cameras. And right now we're trying to propose to go with this one agency, which is called Municipal Collection
Of America.
of America. And out of the 3, we thought they were more, I guess, up to speed with the state of Maryland. They already have several several clients in Maryland that are using them. I spoke to a couple of them. Also, Mr. Best, he's very familiar with this collection agency because I think a couple of his other clients have this collection agency, like Forest Heights, Seat Pleasant has them, as well as some other ones that have this collection agency. They're very up to speed with Maryland. The other 2 vendors, they are just coming into Maryland, and they had a lot of questions to ask for us instead of us asking questions for them. And I think Municipal Collection of America is probably our best bet at this moment.
Can I comment?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and we discussed this in the work session, and this was the one that the commission wanted to go with, but I want to give some more background in terms of this. You know, relative to our red light cameras, there are a lot of outstanding fines that just have not been collected. And when I looked at the audit and they estimated that we've lost about $2 million from uncollected fines from the red light cameras. I talked to the chief and I said, we need to get a third party to come in to try to recoup some of that. Now, that being said, for the red light cameras, if need be, for the speed cameras, that can be an additional way to recoup or get, the fines. So I just wanted you all to understand how this came about and the reason why.
And so right now, we're trying to move toward a vote for this collection agency.
You need someone to make a motion in regards to this collection agency.
Yes, ma'am.
What's the name of the one? What's the name of the collection
called-
agency again?
It's called Municipal Collections of America.
And what's the revenue, the percentage? I want to make sure I note that in the motion. That we retrieve back. Or what do they charge? Just tell me what they charge, like the percentage. There was a percentage, right?
Yes, hold on a minute. I just lost my spot.
I'm very disappointed hearing that.
25.92%.
You said 25?
25.92%.
And how much were the other ones charging?
One was 40%.
Wow.
And I think the other one was like 35. I can't recall.
Okay. All right.
But they
So
but they just didn't know what they were doing. So it was just
Right.
they had no experience. So
Gotcha. So
Also, Commissioner
25.
Givens,
Yeah.
Commissioner Givens, just so you know that we have a late fee already, y'all did a resolution for us to go ahead and do late fees and collection fees for this, so it won't come out of the town's pocket. It will come out, or the valley will be paying for this.
Oh, okay. All right. So I make them, what was the name of the company again? I apologize, I'm driving, I got you on speaker, so I can't write anything down.
Municipal Collections of
Gotcha.
America.
So I make a motion that we provide the services of, receive the services of Municipal Collections of America to process our back collections for our speed cameras and red light cameras, due to the fact that they had the lowest chargeable rate at 25%.
Is there a second?
I'll second. Commissioner Amashay.
Okay, the motion has been made and properly seconded. Call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Givens, aye.
Amashay, aye.
Wheatley, aye.
Brooks, aye.
Commissioner Young,
I'm sorry, but for the same reasons related to the red light, or for the speed cameras, I'm abstaining.
there are 4 yeas, 1 abstention, no nays. Motion passes.
And I'd like to say thank you, Chief, for following up on that. Although I am disappointed that previous staff members, I don't know who they are, didn't what's in, because this was brought up to the Commission for Lost Revenues, and and that's something that we should have been able to recoup all along. So, but thank you for following up and getting us back on track. Thank you.
No problem. It's a team effort. The town manager, she had a big part of this also. Thank you, Ms. Richardson.
welcome.
All right, moving along. We got a few more items.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Best.
I'm a little concerned how you all are approving contracts tonight. And for example, you seem to approve 3 contracts tonight, and none of them are really before you. Not really the best practice to approve contracts and not have them before you. There's no MCOA contract before you. And, you know, the devil's in the details. So, you know, I think it's possible that you can delegate authority to enter into a contract if you know the material terms. And so you may have that in a lot of cases. I know there's another contract with a company called Mid Something dealing with shotgun or gunfire monitoring and monitoring violators, piggybacking off the red speed camera system. But your motions aren't really stating who has the authority to sign these contracts. And, you know, sometimes proposals come out and they have signature blocks on them, so a proposal will convert to a contract. And I'm also concerned about the fact that, you know, are you using liability waivers? If a contractor comes into the town, erects a fence or puts a new floor on the town hall and one of their employees is negligent and slips and falls and attempts to sue the town, whether you're getting the proper waiver form. So it's really best to get the contract actually put before you at the meeting. It's one thing to award a bid or award a proposal, and quite another thing to approve a contract. And so I'm just asking you that you might want to be a little more diligent in that regard. Thank you.
Thanks for the comment. I will say that I did ask that question when we first started. I asked who was going to be signing the contract for 18,000. Can't remember which contract it was. I believe it was Commissioner Givens who said that we're not signing the contract. We're just taking the vote right now. We can work out who has the authority to sign it later. And I did not hear you speak up, Mr. Best.
I did
Well,
try
and
to
that
speak up.
that was because I stipulated that because we wanted the contract to be reviewed by Mr. Best prior to anyone signing it. So I think I mentioned that. But yeah, we apologize if we weren't clear on. We were just awarding who's won the bid, you know, but we haven't signed any contracts yet. And we didn't anticipate doing so until it's been reviewed by yourself.
Correct.
And, yeah.
Well, there was a contract for the that trial period from the company piggybacking off Red Speed. There was a contract for that. And
That was the free one. That's the pilot program.
Yeah, and it's not off the speed camera at all. And y'all keep on saying speed camera. Yes, Red Speed is our speed camera provider, but they also provide our AVA system. Our AVA system is that camera security system that we have that Red Speed has also. So it's piggyback off of that, not off the speed camera. So Commissioner Young kept on saying the speed camera. No, it's the same vendor, but it's off of our camera system that the AVA system. That's what the shot clock is going to be actually working from. But yeah, that contract is going to go to you, Mr. Best, before we sign off on it.
Right.
so what I think you're saying is that you're awarding bids or quotes or proposals. You're not awarding you're not approving contracts tonight. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah, we don't have any contracts to approve. We haven't had them reviewed yet
Yeah.
for legal sufficiency. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought that did we not go over this aspect some time ago about who signs when it's time to sign? It's my understanding that we had kind of already did this some time ago. I thought we did it in some form of power, not sharing, but power authorization, authorizing the town, the chair to do that. I could be wrong, though. I may be wrong, because who wants to keep doing this every time we do have to sign a contract? We need to have, and if we didn't do it, then we need to go ahead. I thought we did it, but if we didn't do it, we need to go ahead and put something like that in motion, because we can't be corralling, us to have a meeting to decide who signs. I mean, that's absolutely insane. I mean, that's why we have a town manager, and that's why we have a chair, a delegated chair. So I yield back.
Anything
I
else,
could
Mr.
speak.
Best? I wanted to ask Mr. Best if he had anything else.
Yeah, the best way to designate who has signatory authority for the town is to put it in your code. That's the best way. That's the way most cities and towns that do delegate that authority. Your charter is silent on the matter, so is your code of ordinances. I suppose you could pass a mere resolution to state who has the signature authority, and you'd get by with that as well, but
Yeah,
you should put it.
that's what I said. I thought we did, but if we didn't, then I guess I have no problem doing the ordinance or whatever, and just draw it up, and we kind of pass it by ordinance so that we can know that it's a part of our ordinance. But I could have swore we did it by resolution, written resolution, but I could be wrong.
That in the past, there have been resolutions that have approved contracts, and the resolution states who is authorized to sign for the town. Typically, it's the the chair rather. But there's not like a blanket rule or law or policy that says that, all contracts are authorized to be, when they're approved by the governing body, that they are to be signed and executed by one named person. You don't have that in your law. All right, well, thank you.
Thanks. Commissioner Young, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I'm just following up on what Kevin was saying to us. And this may be understood already, and if it is, that's good. But once the contract gets drawn up, then we're going to need to take another vote on that to make sure that we're all in agreement on what's contained in the contract on each of these things.
Thank you. If there's no further discussion, we can move on to the next item, RFP for auditors. Is that you, Carol?
Yes, so this would be, well, as you all may know, we are required to do an annual audit of the financial statements. This would be for the fiscal years ending June 2023, 24, and 25 is for a 3-year period. Currently, the firm that the town has been using, you've had for several years. And I understand in the past, you all have been advised to periodically change your auditor. Just, I think sometimes familiarity can breed complacency. I know during my tenure here, I had in reviewing like the last audit, there were some mistakes made that had carried over from previous years. So, but even with that, it is advisable periodically to, change your auditor. So that is the purpose of this RFP, to solicit proposals to provide auditing services to the town.
I have a question.
Yes.
On the second page, I think it's the second page, yeah. it says responses will be evaluated by the town manager. A recommendation of the firm judged to be responsive, most qualified and experienced will be submitted to the town commission for final decision. I really think that all of the responses should be put before the commission,
Okay, I'll change that.
not just the one recommended by the town manager.
I will make that change in the language.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Any other edits or questions? Hearing none, we can move on. What's next? Resolution 2023-11. Additional fiscal year 23 funding for ARPA relief program. Is that for the ARPA family relief program?
Yeah, we're gonna skip that. I need to revisit that with Todd.
Okay. Is everyone okay with skipping that agenda item?
I am giving them.
Okay, great. Thank you. I guess everyone else is okay. Next
Yep,
would be the,
fine.
okay, thanks. Next would be the town manager update.
I'm okay with that, but is that to suggest that we are getting additional funding that we were not previously expecting?
No, I believe that's to add the 15,000 on for the remainder of fiscal year 23 for the family relief program.
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Carol, you want to give your report?
I don't have too many updates. With the facade improvement program, I will be getting that to you all for your comments. In looking at it, I think we're gonna have to do two components, one for the business, one for the residential, and I want to incorporate some of the suggestions I've gotten from you all. And I think even for the residential portion, not to just have it for facade, given the fact too, I believe it was Edmonston developed a program to assist residents with mitigating stormwater management or water flow around their properties. So I'm trying to rework that so that we can have a program that meets as many needs as possible. But for the businesses, it would be facades. But I think for the residents to try to do a program that is as flexible and as helpful as possible to our residents. So I'm kind of reworking that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is that all for you?
Yes.
All right.
Can you speak on the grant that we received to the town, please? And so everyone's and the public will be advised.
Okay, there are a couple of things. We applied for funding for what they call it a congressional earmark or funding through your federal representative. We requested over, I think, $700,000 through Senator Van Hollen. The federal officials, they're allowed, like the senators are, and I think the representatives are allowed to put forth like 15 projects as for priority for funding. And it will go through the appropriations process in Congress and for inclusion in the federal budget. Now, that being said, Van Hollen has chosen our project for stormwater management to be put forth. But it has to go through the appropriations process and the budget process. So it will take many months before we know if we actually get it or if it will be included in the federal budget. But it was good news to know that Van Hollen saw our project as a high enough priority to put it forward. Okay. So the second one is we also applied for money for our stormwater management project. So let me just give some background on the stormwater management project. The engineering firm of Charles P. Johnson and Associates did a study last spring that examined and suggested mitigation of our stormwater management issues and the resolution of them that include some paving, providing inlets in different parts of the city. The estimated cost is over $1 million. So hence we are trying to find resources to fund that. So an additional grant request was put in for the community development block grants, which are aimed at helping communities, low and moderate income communities, for myriad things from sidewalks to community centers, to streets and gutters. So I did follow up with the county today. What happens is they evaluate them and they put them forward in their final plan of which ones they are going to consider or put before the county council. So our project was chosen. I'm trying to clarify what award amount was chosen. So because even though you apply for an award amount with the community development block grant, they don't always give you the full amount. So I'm trying to confirm that or clarify what exact amount was put forward in terms of the recommendation, but we were included in the final plan that will be suggested to the county council, which administers the CDBG money for the county. And as soon as I find out, I will update you all.
And also, Carol, can you speak to, apparently there was another award given to the town as far as financial, what's saying, from a lawsuit that was filed some years ago that.
Yes, we
thank
got approximately $17,000. This was part of a national lawsuit that had, it was, I think it was, if you've ever heard of Roundup, there was a big lawsuit that, you know, the chemicals leached into the waterways across the country. Apparently, the town was party to that lawsuit. So we did receive approximately $17,000 as our portion of it. It wasn't, you know, just Maryland, but it was, you know, they found these PCBs, they're called, you know, in all of our major waterways. And so since we are right on one that leads into one of the nation's major watersheds, the Chesapeake Bay watershed, we were one of the parties that signed on to this national class action suit.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing that, Carol. I didn't realize that it had to do with Roundup. That's what killed my brother, because he used to spray it out on fields. And the doctor said that that's what killed him. But I did not realize it was Roundup we were talking about.
No, it
Thank
was.
you for the
we-
information.
We did that some years ago. We signed on to that. And that's how I knew that your brother died from it, because you mentioned that. And that was in the time when we had to make a decision whether we were gonna sign on to lawsuit. So it was some time ago though. I had forgot about it myself until Carol brought it up.
Thank you both.
Is that it, Carol?
Yes.
All right. Public Works, Mr. Pinckney.
Yep. I noticed that something wasn't on the agenda, and it was the parking lot lights. Did the commission want to go over those? Or do you want to save that for next month?
You needed to get in the budget though, right? If we table it till next month, will you still have time to put it in the budget?
If we'll be close to we'll be close to not doing it this year.
But we need those lights in the parking lot. Cause it is dark in that parking lot. Can you make it quick?
Yep.
All right, let's go for it.
Am I still able to share my screen?
Hold on. Yes, you are.
Can y'all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so the three quotes that we got for the parking lots were Northeast Electric, who is pretty much kind of like has been our primary electric company for our parking lot lights since I've been here. CNA Electric, who did our electric LED sign, and then Eugene Electric, who did the electric charging station. They all gave me a quote for the replacement of 8 parking lot lights and 2 of the smaller lights, which are on the front side of the building by the town, the meeting hall entrance. Northeast Electric gave me a price and said that if they do not have to run new wiring, then that price will decrease. But they won't know until they come out here and put the fixtures up. So they gave us the full price. CNA Electric, they gave me a price based off of just putting the lights up and reconnecting the wires. And if they need to run new wires, then they would do a change order. Eugene Electric gave me 2. Actually, this one just has 1. $6,000 with the new wiring, and it's $4,000 with the without the wiring. They originally said that they would do it, the price would decrease, but then he wound up being able to send me another proposal at $4,000 without the wiring. And this is for replacement, like I said, of the 8 parking lot lights, the fixtures on 8 of the parking lot lights and 2 of the walkway lights.
And these are LED lights,
These are LED lights.
but it's gonna be brighter in the parking lot once
Well,
they're installed.
It'll be about the same brightness because the ones that we have out there are LED lights.
Well, it's not bright out there to me. Or is that because some of the lights just don't work?
Right. Right now in the parking lot, we got 3 lights that are now out.
And they can't be fixed?
Well, these are not like the fluorescent bulbs where they used to come and just change the bulb. These, they have to change the whole light fixture.
Right. Yeah, I think we need to go ahead and do this. Cause it is dark out there at night and we have some events at night and it's just not safe.
So here, I really don't have a preference. Like I said, Northeast Electric has been doing our lights for a long time, but these 2 new quotes from CNA and Eugene Electric, they have done ground electricity for us and not really nothing overhead like the parking lot lights.
But you said you don't have a preference, right? So you're not making a recommendation either way.
I'm not.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you be making a recommendation if the guy has a much lower price than everybody else? Is there a problem with him or something?
No, I mean, I'm good with Eugene Electric doing it, but I've never had them do anything with our pole lights. I don't want to recommend them to do a pole light that I've never, had experience with them doing it.
Yeah, but if they do electrical, but nevertheless, my question would be, do you think that you could ask them if they can give us an outlet at the bottom of that one light by the gazebo? If they could just put us up an outlet box right there. It's all the same. It's not there. It's a 110 system, so 120 volt system. So, I mean, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I mean, you're running the wire, and you know. But if it is, then then maybe we'll have to just do that another time. But it's like if they're going to be in there, it might be the optimal time to kind of throw one in there. You know,
I can ask them to do that. It'll be a change.
you don't need to do them
probably,
all
but-
of them. It would just be the one. You know,
Right.
of a 2-prong. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Givens, in regards to the gazebo,
Mhm.
didn't we say we were gonna try to put some lighting out there? Was it solar lights or something?
We did. We were talking about researching some solar opportunities through a grant program, but you know, I think we got kind of inundated with some of the other programs that kind of got put in front of it, and so I'm not sure where we're at on that, or you know, if we're gonna kind of put that on the back burner until we can kind of clear through some of this other stuff. And so I was basically asking for, okay, until we kind of get that kind of straightened out, and maybe we can get at least a what's the name says, because what is the chief does events out there sometimes, or
Mhm.
I'm not saying just the chief, but I noticed the chief has had wires running above the thing, and you know, it kind of looks, I mean, it's great, he does a great job, but it would be nice to just have him be able to go off the pole, which is a lot closer. And I mean,
Right.
that still wouldn't be, that's not the optimal, whether we decide to go solar or we do a hard wire. Ideally, we want it on the gazebo itself, but at least it would be that much closer. You know, that's the only reason I said that. Thank you.
Okay. I have no problem with putting that outlet on the pole. If I had to make a choice, I would say go with the Eugene Electric since they seem to be the cheapest.
And I agree.
Yeah. How do other commissioners feel?
This Commissioner
agree.
Brooks, I fully support lighting up the town hall parking lot, but I would also like to touch base about all the dark spots throughout town. So, thank you.
Yeah, that just so you know, John, that's a different aspect. That comes through Pepco, and that's I think Greg was looking at some of the West End for that. So, but this is just a town. This is a you have to get a private West End to do this at the town. This isn't Pepco. But that's
Oh, no,
a different
I'm aware. And I know some of the conversation was around possible solar lighting in some of the dark spots if Pepco can't really come out. And I think that really needs to be looked at.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Young and Armitage?
I'm in agreement with you.
Agreed, same.
Okay, thanks. Mr. Pinckney, did you get what you needed from us?
Yeah, and I would definitely once I finally talk with them about actual what the light looks like, if they can get me a picture of it, I'll make sure that you guys get it so that you can see exactly what the fixture looks like.
Thank you. Is that the end of your report?
I have a few updates that I wanted to give you. We do have 34 poles that have wires down. I know that was spoken of in the last meeting. We have 34 poles that have wires that's hanging from it, or 34 areas that have wires hanging in some form or fashion. The two contacts that we had for Comcast and Verizon, who handles that, their emails bounce back. They do not. Well, one of them I know for a fact that is not with the company anymore. But the video people were able to get me the person for Comcast, I believe it is. And she reached out to me today. So as soon as our email system gets back up, then I'll be able to send her that information. And she said she will have somebody come out and look at all those poles and identify what's Comcast and get them fixed. The other one, I'm still waiting on who's the new contact person for so that I can send them that information. And once I get that, they'll receive the same thing. In regards to
I have a
the,
question. Oh,
Mhm.
go ahead.
in regards
When you're
to
done, I have a
the,
question.
the installation of the new poles, I believe Ms. Richardson is going to reach out to them, and possibly we may be making a trip down to Pepco because we're not getting any responses. We're not getting the information that we need, timelines or anything from Pepco, and it's getting real frustrating. So we may be making a trip down, but she's working hard to try to find someone who we can talk to that can give us some type of information and time frame of what's going on with some of our Pepco complaints. I did put in another request for the pole that's out down on Cottage Terrace. One of the underground poles is out down there. I put in another request for that online. And then as far as the pole that is leaning on Cottage Terrace, we still haven't gotten a response to that. But however, I did go online and I do have the order number. I reported it back in October the 19th, 2022. So that's just how long it's been since we reported it and pretty much had it blocked off. It's been a while since it's been reported, and I have the order number for that. So hopefully the order number will grab somebody's attention. Online, it says that it's they did receive the complaint, they did receive the information, and it's supposed to be fixed soon. That's all it says. But we're not getting any information from Pepco as far as when they will do it. So we are working on trying to get those things rectified.
So if I can comment on that, regarding that pole that's leaning, I took pictures and sent it to the head of government relations. Have not gotten a response, so I think I'm just gonna have to go up the chain of command, but Corporal Thompson has been, we have a sheet that we use to kind of keep track of what lights are out and then which ones have been reactivated. And what I do is I've been sending updates to the head of government relations. So I'll keep doing that, but I think I'm gonna try to find another avenue because it's just unacceptable. And then even when I have reached out and not getting a response or even an acknowledgement, it's troublesome.
Is the pole that's leaning, is that the one that's down at the corner of 37th and Cottage Terrace?
No, this one is on Cottage Terrace and Shepherd.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because there was one down at the corner of 37th and Cottage Terrace, and I don't honestly know whether that's been fixed yet or not. And then the other one I was going to ask about is, what do they say about the one that they were going to put a new light on one of the existing poles over on Parkwood between 37th Avenue and 37th Place?
That's one of the
Remember
ones that I was speaking of earlier that we still haven't gotten a response on the time frame as far as them coming in to do it. The last that we heard was they submitted the information for permit and no payment has been made yet. And then the contractor has been trying to figure out about payment as well. So Pepco is kind of dragging their tail on it, and we're not getting no responses.
Oh
But
gosh.
we've paid.
Well, in
But
that
we've made our payment, so we've done everything we're supposed to do.
right. Well, just on that whole theme, it might be good for you to get with John Brooks and figure out what needs to be done down on the other end of Cottage Terrace from where I am, and get that started, since it obviously takes an awful long time. It's been quite a long time since the
Well, one
request was made.
of the poles are down there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the new underground
He
pole
might.
that's supposed to be going down there.
You might still want to talk to each other just to make sure that, John, any of your assessments of where they should go aren't overlooked.
Yeah, I'll take a look, and I appreciate all of you following up with it. There's one by the tot lot too that, you know, if you're walking a dog or anything, it's pretty dark over there. But yeah, I'll do a ride around. I'll get back with you, Mr. Pinckney.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else to report?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's see, we went through the public works. Police department?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right. Well, real quick, we received a grant. I'm sorry, the state of Maryland received additional monies, funds for retention and recruiting grant for this fiscal year we're in right now. They had a lot of money left over, so they had us turn in what you call white paper to actually put in a request for those funds that were left over from last year. We applied, we received $16,200 to go toward our retention and recruiting efforts. Right now, I'm asking permission from the commission to allow me to start spending the money. I had to spend before June 31st. I did send you a copy of our plan of a payment plan that we are spending the money, a spending plan that was submitted with the grant that was approved by the state of Maryland for us to move forward. But I just needed the permission from the commission to go ahead and have Todd to create a line item for this grant money that we received, because we had to spend before June 30th. So we can go ahead and take care of this. We don't want to turn the money back to the state of Maryland. So I'm seeing if we can take a consensus or a vote to let me move forward with this and create a line item.
I'm in favor of it.
Me too.
Givens, I'm in favor.
All right, next thing is in reference to the revenue that we're going to be receiving from the speed camera. We have to have a meeting soon to actually talk about how we're going to allocate these funds. Mr. Brooks had a great idea. We have the funds because everything has to be done with public safety. I'm online right now. I looked at some of these solar, commercial solar poles with the solar lights that we put up in the community, and some of our areas where are very dark. That is a safety issue. Because of a safety issue, we can use the speed camera funds to pay for probably 100 to 200 of these solar poles, lights that we put up through the community. They're like $369.99, but we won't have to actually go with that, but put money aside in a line item for lighting out of those funds. And that's why we need to have a meeting probably within the next couple of weeks to actually accept line items to show that we are going to use those monies for some kind of public safety. I did speak with the town manager. She had a great idea in reference to the issues we have on 43rd with the freezing of water because of drainage issues over there. We might can use some of the funds to actually start that project on 43rd to actually get those things dug in and get better way of doing some of that rain and drainage. So there's a lot of things that we can discuss about public safety, actually put this money toward. Also, even the tot lot. I've been over the tot lot a couple of times already. It's beautiful equipment. It's being well used. The problem is that we get a lot of bottles and other dangerous items inside that mulch. So that could be a public safety issue that it could actually give us the avenue to actually go ahead and get the new surface that we want by using these funds. So those are the kind of ideas we need to talk about very soon to actually get on the table, because we have to discuss this before we put our budget in. Because once again, whatever we don't use is go back to the state of Maryland. If it's I think 10% of our budget, if that's how much left over, it goes back to the state. So we have to find kind of ways to actually also offload some of these funds and put it in use for the betterment of our community doing public safety. That's all I have right now. You can read my report. I don't want to take too much of your time.
Let me just comment briefly.
Before you comment, I have a question. I have my hand raised.
I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Chief, you mentioned the tot lot and the mulch. You said what did you say is being? Barrels?
I have gone over there several times and picked up bottles.
Oh,
People over there drinking,
bottles.
yeah, beer bottles, as well as
Beer bottles
not
inside
beer
the
bottles,
top
liquor-
lot?
Sorry, liquor bottles. Yes, ma'am. Matter of fact, we wrote a ticket on an individual was in the top lot drinking after hours. So we go past there, we see a lot of trash in there and things that actually fall into the mulch. Lord forbid if we have like a syringe or something like that, or something sharp that's left in the mulch, and kids are running through there and get hurt. So that could be considered public safety to the point where we can actually use some of the funds to put a hardening surface in there, like a rubber surface in there, to use some of the funds to do that. So I'm just giving you some ideas of how we can be creative in reference to using some of the money going toward public safety.
Okay, so you said they were drinking after hours. What? I didn't know there was a such thing as after hours.
After dusk, all parks are closed after dusk. So once the street lights come on, you can't be inside the parks.
But they can be in there in the daytime drinking alcohol? Is that what you're
No,
saying?
we saw somebody in there drinking after hours, and we stopped them and brought them a ticket. But what I'm saying is, I found some liquor bottles in there just recently, and other trash. We have a trash can there. Why the kids are not using the trash can and the parents, I don't know. But I have gone over there as well as Public Works and police the area where people are not using the trash can. That's been an example.
Okay, thanks. Wow.
I'm
Okay,
sorry, this is Brooks. Could you send me the report that you referenced?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
any other questions for the chief? Okay, hearing none, we'll continue. Before we go to commissioners' reports, I do want to open the floor for public comments, if there are any at this time. You can either raise your hand or come off mute. Or if you'd like, you can put something in the chat. Hearing none, we'll continue with our agenda. Board-
Point of order.
Yes.
We need to have the town manager. And we need, as a commission, needs to make the decision who's going down to the MML so that they can begin the process to register people and so on and so forth. And I don't believe that's been done yet. And this is the meeting that we typically figure out who's going, and so they know how much they're going to spend. Thank you.
We already did that when Brittany sent us the email, if I'm not mistaken. She sent us an email asking who wanted to attend. I believe I may have been the only one who replied.
Yeah, well, you still have to do it because we had this discussion during the last one of the meetings, and it was said we could do it already to this meeting because we said there's an election, and you don't know if people are going to go or not, and it's like we have enough. Miss Carol said we have enough time to do it. So, but you'd have to figure it out this meeting. She said this a couple months ago. So, but I think I'm going to go ahead and go this year. So, you can go ahead and place me on the list.
Okay,
Carol.
thank you.
Thank you.
Carol, is
And-
I
it
think the
is it too
deadline's
late?
is the deadline May 17th?
No,
So-
I was going, that's not the question I was going to ask. I was going to ask,
I
is
think
it
it's
too
the
late?
16th.
Is it too late to get the early bird special, I guess is what you call it?
Yeah, that's the May 16th date.
May
Okay, so
16th?
So you
Yeah.
have to, whoever decides to go, make sure they're registered to
Mhm.
get the
By
discount.
May 16th.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
thank you.
And do you know if you're going? I mean, I think it's probably best if
I
you know
honestly
you're
don't
going,
know
this
at
is the
this
time to
point.
speak.
I need to figure that out, and I'll let you know by May 16th.
John and Armache.
John Brooks, yes, I'll attend.
I
Artist?
was just double checking the dates and praying it wasn't the first half of June. Yes, I think I should be able to go, and I would like to attend as long as I'm able to logistically, which I think is a yes, and I'll make sure to sign up before the deadline.
Uh-oh.
Well, did I just hear that I have till the deadline?
No,
to
I know.
decide-
I just want to make
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is that a tentative?
That is a tentative, yes, that is, I'm pretty
Okay.
sure, and I can't say. I know that I have something the first 2 weekends of June. As far as I know, I should be able to go. I'm just double checking my calendar.
Give us the dates again
The
for it.
last,
So every,
it's the last weekend of the month. Excuse me, that was my son trying to be funny.
June 25th through the 28th.
Oh,
Thank you.
20 to the 28th. Yes, I can go.
thank you.
So I'm taking off tentative.
And I'll
Okay.
let you know by the 15th or 16th.
Okay.
Sorry. not to
And
be more
Carol, you
definite.
have me down, right?
Yes.
Chief, you have a question? Your
Yes.
hand just raised.
Yes, I apologize. It's my fault. I forgot that I have code enforcement Mike Folks on the line, and we should have him like earlier on. He's doing an excellent job in the town. He has got so many people to go in compliance. He went out today with the county to address some of the issues we have with our commercial establishments along Williamsburg Road. He has great news to talk about that. So if we can give him like a short period of time to speak to the commission, I appreciate it. Because he did wait and I forgot he was online.
Sure.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, I'm actually reporting that we've made some progress with county inspectors. A lot of information and based on some vehicles, some, I guess you want to call it the mechanical places that are servicing vehicles. He advised that there was a lot of things going on with the Euro place, and he's planning to inspect that particular place because I know they've been a lot of complaints been having. They've been parking cars up and down the streets where they shouldn't been parking, of course. He actually went over to Port Motors today, and we took a lot of pictures. And as of next 48 hours, there's gonna be a lot of fines issued in reference to that because they've been having people leaving like bus seats and all kinds of wood, things that would attract a lot of animals over there. So we're actually currently working on that. Also, and in the period since I've been here, there are a lot of cases that were open, I guess due to the fact that your prior inspector or prior person, code enforcement officer, you know, the time that he's been gone. So out of those cases, I've investigated like 20 of them. And out of those 20, 16 have been closed based on, I guess, doing the friendly matter of talking to people, getting them to comply with the Cottage City Code. That was actually a wonderful thing because I really didn't have to issue any citations to anybody. Just talking to them and getting them to understand that helping the city to better itself and to bring the city up, a little helping hand, it takes everybody to pitch in and try to help. So this has worked out perfectly. And little small reminders, I do have the placard. I know a lot of people do not like the placards on their doors, but I give warnings. I don't go out there and just give people fines. I like to give people chances. And what I have been doing, I see that this works. I might go to a resident that might have, 3 or 4 things going on with it. What I will do is I will issue one violation and warn them about the rest of them to give them time to at least fix the one violation first. And 9 times out of 10, when I go back, most of the violations are fixed. Our biggest issue right now we have is, again, the businesses and down in the industrial area. There's a few car places down there. They do tend to get a little, a little wild down there with the car parts being in the middle of the road. I guess when they're taking cars apart, it's more or less body shops. I did have a talk with the owner, and he has corrected that in the past couple of weeks. So that's been a task, for the past 2 weeks. But they have been compliant. They picked up all the trash. Would be 30, I believe 3460 Bladensburg is at the dead end. That's what they call it. So I've been going down there, really staying on top of that. Haven't had any issues, like I said, in the past couple of weeks. I know we have been receiving reports for loud music during the weekends. I have confronted those individuals as well, giving them notices, advising them that that type of stuff would not be tolerated, based on, code and compliance. Our biggest issue we're having now in the city is open storage. I've really been trying to get people on board about the open storage, because open storage, it could be a really bad thing. I think people don't understand that open storage brings on a lot of animals. I have a few houses that I'm gonna have to give second notices to, and I'm hoping we don't have to go to this abatement situation, but we do, okay, it is what it is. I've been warning them, letting them know that, and it just won't be tolerated. Now, the inoperable cars, that's something that I have to give them at least 30 days notice about. A lot of people I'm starting to notice as I go through using binoculars to look in the backyards, there are a lot of cars being stored, no tags, no registration, and it's basically a nest for rats and all kinds of other little small rodent animals. So that's the biggest thing we're worried about right now. Everything else seems like the grass cutting. Most people, I would say most, not all, but most are complying with the grass cutting situation. I'm not seeing a lot of people with 3-foot grass anymore. Most everybody's down to maybe 2 to 3 inches. So that's pretty much what I needed to share. And one last thing, it's one business that I'm working on. There were some power wires hanging from the side of that business, going into the yard. So we're working with Pepco on that. Actually, I talked to them earlier this week in reference to them trying to come and remove them. They're not live wires, so I did find that out. They're saying that those are pre-existing wires that were there and they never took them down. So that's my my last concern. So other than that, most of the people in town are coming up to code. My biggest thing, once again, is going to be the inoperable vehicles. A few exterior surface treatments might need to be taken care of, but that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Mr. Folks. Appreciate your due diligence and making sure that you're getting around the community and helping out with making our community a much nicer place. Are there any
Also-
questions or comments for Mr. Folks?
Yes, I need to add on to it. He's not from all his stuff that he's done. He has worked very closely with the town manager as well as Brittany in reference to getting a list, an active list, all the residents that are unoccupied as well as the businesses. Also, he went around last week and got all the lists of all the active businesses in the town to actually sit down with Brittany next week to actually see who's paying their fair share of property taxes or our town taxes. So he has done a lot since he's been here, and I really appreciate him.
Yeah, that was done at my request. So yes, he has been very helpful.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, we're gonna go to Ward 1. Commissioner Young, would you like to give a report?
Yeah, I don't have very much. And actually, it doesn't necessarily concern Ward 1 or just Ward 1. With regard to the tot lot, I would support the idea of taking, that the chief made of taking some of the funds from the speeding fines to put some kind of rubber or, a solid surface in the tot lot. And then also, I just wanted to say, artists had raised the question about what the item in the corner, the corner of, I guess it's Parkwood and 40th. I can't figure out what that thing is and what to do with it either. And there's also another item down at the other end by the 40th Street fence that's yellow, and I couldn't figure out what to do with that either. And I didn't see kids playing with either one of those things. So, Greg, maybe you could look into those, or because I couldn't figure it out either. I guess that's all. I guess that's all for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Young. Ward 2 Commissioner Armache.
Oh, could I add one thing? I'm sorry. Could I forgot. I wanted to ask the chief before and I overlooked this. Are we getting any progress on lowering the speed limit on 38 and putting in some better signs? Because that's still a problem. Now we have the new tot lot, but the kids from over on this side of 38, they can't get there. And so they're not getting the benefit of that. It's extremely dangerous to cross 38. And so, I mean, for adults, much less kids.
Yes.
Have we gotten any
I
more
spoke-
information on that?
Yes, when we had the situation on the other day with the traffic, our representative from the State Highway Administration came by the office, Peter. He came by the office and met with me. I did praise him for all the things they have done on 38th Avenue. He said that he has a couple of requests in for a reduction of our speed limit, but he said that we do fall into the criteria if we keep the speed up to actually get the flashing lights. So he's trying to weigh if we should get the flashing lights and keep the speed the same way or reduce the speed and do something else. So he's trying to find out the different options that we can do to actually make it more safer for our walkers to walk across in the crosswalk. He did put up bigger signs for the crosswalk as well as repainted the crosswalks the last couple of months, and he did repave the whole 38th Avenue. So there's a lot of things that he has done, and he put up more signs for no parking, and he's getting ready to do another modification onto the turn lane. So on 38th, instead of having one lane turning to the direction of Pete's Cross, they will let both lanes to be able to turn when the light turns green. So that's going to help us alleviate some of the traffic on 38th and keep people from cutting through our town. So there's a lot of things he's still working on that he has showed some progress on things we asked for, but some more things that he's going to do to make it a lot better and safer on 38th Avenue. And once I get that information and those timelines, I'll make sure I update you.
Chief, so
Thank
you're
you.
saying
Mr.
that, I'm sorry, I wanted to ask a question. Chief, you're saying those two lanes, so the left lane is the turning lane to turn left, and you can go straight across, right?
Right, but what he's doing now
Or is that the right lane? Because I thought the right lane, one of those lanes you can go straight across. Maybe it's the right lane.
the right lane. The right lane, he's gonna make straight across and turn a left. So you have the options. It's gonna be like a 3 arrow. So for that far right lane, you have 3 options. You either go left, right, or center.
Or straight ahead.
Straight ahead, yes, left, right, center. I'm
So
thinking again.
that far right lane is gonna be
3 options.
all 3 options. You can turn left, you can turn right, or you can go straight across into the shopping center.
Right, and he said that he believes having 2 lanes that can turn to the left is going to help alleviate a lot of that traffic on 38th to get people to go through that light a little bit quicker and be more efficient. So he's looking at that option, and he said that option is going to probably be in place hopefully sometimes in mid-June or July.
And right now we can turn on red. We can make a right turn on red at that light, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
because we're
Uh,
in Maryland.
all right.
Well, Chief,
I'm finished.
just a thanks. I thought you were. Chief, I mean, I wish we could get to a point where we could have, if we could get the flashing lights, that would be good. I wish we could get to the point someday where we could have what they have in Washington and at some intersections where people can press a button and cause a light to turn red so people can cross over. Because I'm telling you, the kids over on this side of 38 are not going to get the benefit of the tot lot. Because
Right.
they're just not. The parents work, and when they get home, it's evening time. Hopefully the drinkers won't be there by then, but I mean, our kids over here should be able to get the benefit of that, and they can't. Somebody some years ago recommended that we build like a elevated walkway, like they have where I used to live in Silver Spring. There's an elevated walkway that goes across. I think it's Georgia Avenue. But it's just not right that our kids don't have the benefit of that because they can't get there. And so, I mean, it's dangerous for adults too, and it's even worse for kids.
Well, I gave an
So,
option.
okay.
Yeah, I gave an option to State Highway Administration earlier on, and I think you heard my option. And one option was to go ahead and have a meeting with CSX because they own the bridge and underneath the bridge area, and try to see if we can have a walkway underneath the bridge like we have over there at the bridge at Peace Crossing. We have walkways go underneath the bridge to get to one side to the other, so people don't have to go across to use the bike trails. So I know State Highway Administration said that he couldn't make that decision because we had to talk to CSX to see if they would give up some of those
Right.
some of the right of way.
And plus you'd have to do a wall to keep them from, getting on the train tracks.
Yeah, you put a fence up
Um,
or something like that, but it's the point where that's something could be an
Or
option
fence,
too.
yeah, right.
But like I said, it's the point where it's something that we have to sit down with CSX to see if they were willing to do something like that. And then find the funding.
Well,
to do it.
whatever we can do, it really, I just can't emphasize enough how important it is. And I've been working on this for close to 10 years, I think. So thank you for anything you can do, and any way I can help in that, let me know ever.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ward 2, Commissioner Armitage.
Yes, I was gonna ask the same thing that Ann asked if there was, I don't know if there was any information found out as far as the playground goes and what that corner thing is. Can't think off the top of my head what the thing that Ann is referring to is, but and whether, there's any, unfortunately, I know that corner thing is very, it's whatever. I wanted to know if there was any further information about that. And then I also was speaking to a resident down Parkwood towards the park who was expressing issues with Saturdays when the church across the street right there, the church that's on the right, I think it's the Seventh-day Adventist Church, that's on the right as you're going down towards the river. That on Saturdays, parking really becomes an issue. And I didn't know if there's anything that can be done about that, but I said that I would bring it to the commission. And the one other question that I had was, when you go down to the park past where the tennis courts are, at the end of that section, there's a couple trash cans, but when you cross over to where the big field is and going down towards the river itself, there are no trash cans down in that field along the trail or anything. And I'm wondering if that's something that we could talk to. I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, that's Parks land. So I'm wondering if we can possibly get Big Belly's trash can recycling, something over there, because litter is really an issue. And I noticed in the field, and part of what happens when plastic bottles in particular are left over there, when the county comes and does their maintenance mowing, I don't know if they have a cleanup crew or they're not seeing some of them, but some of those bottles are getting then shredded up. And of course, all of that is eventually washing into the waterway. So those are my comments and questions tonight.
Well, in reference to the one in reference to the park, I'll take care of that tomorrow. I do have the supervisor's name for park and planning's, I guess their maintenance crew or landscape crew. I will contact them and tell them about that, because they're supposed to pick up all trash before they cut. And they have bags on each one of their riding moors. So if they see trash, supposed to get off the riding moor and pick it up before they cut it. So I'll make sure that that be addressed.
Yeah,
Also,
that's definitely an issue. I see a lot of shredded plastic down there.
right. And I have seen that also. So I'll
And
make sure I call.
as far as the trash cans go, Chief, it would be great if we could get cans both in kind of like that area where the concrete pad is from when there were risers there, as well as down on the trail itself.
Yes, ma'am. I asked them about that. Another thing, in reference to your parking issue, you have the church. The church, I talked to the pastor. He supposed to came into one of our meetings and request permission from the town to use our parking lots when they have large events. Because I told him, I said, we getting too many concerns when you have sometimes a visitor, pastors to come, they bring their congregation and it becomes an issue. So he's supposed to let us know when he has that, and he's supposed to come and put requests in front of the commission to use the back parking lot as an overflow and bus people down to the church or have them walk down. So I'll talk to him again about that.
Yeah, that would be great. That's exactly the type of scenario that I was imagining, that maybe there was a neighboring parking lot that could be used on those days. Thank you, Chief.
No problem.
Is that it, Commissioner Armisha?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, for the sake of time, I'm not going to report anything out because we do need to go into a closed session. Hopefully it'll be a quick meeting. Commissioner Givens, would you like to report anything out?
Yeah, just a couple of things. As far as I'm gonna go ahead and do the plants out on Bladensburg Road. If no one, I wanted to go ahead and do that, and then put a couple of plants up at the gazebos, and make sure that our Public Works Department waters those. Also, and if anybody has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them offline. But the steering wheel locks, the chief mentioned in his email, you said something about Kia and another car. Is that just for those cars, or is it for any car? The steering wheel locks. Chief?
I'm sorry about that. Yeah, today we got 96 clubs that came in today. This past weekend, one of my friends, he had something like 48 clubs left over from their event, and he gave it to me. So we should have enough that we could probably supply whoever wants to come down and get a steering wheel lock for their vehicle. But we're trying to make sure we have enough for all our Kias and Hyundais first. But like I said, I'm not gonna turn nobody away, because right now I probably pretty much call back Hyundai. You probably will give me some more.
Okay, so another quick question, and because the resident texted me and asked me, she says that they live in a house, her husband and her son, and they all have cars. Are they allowed to have one for each car, or one per household?
No, I give one for each car.
Okay, and so thank you. I'll relay that information. Also, along the alley behind Parkwood Road, Carol Richardson pointed out to me that the resident had complained there's a big rut in the alley. So I did have a chance to go by there, do an inspection. I took some pictures of it, and it's something that, for emergency, Public Works and I could take care of it. But if you could get a company to come in and do it faster or whatever, that's fine too. I'm not sure what the cost would be. It seems like it would be absorbent, but nevertheless, if you can get that done sooner than later, that would be great. If not, then it's something Public Works and myself could probably knock out in a few hours. But Public Works should
That
take
would
a
be
look at it.
wonderful, Demetrius.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Public Works have had the opportunity to take a look at it as of yet, but that would be good that Carol give them the information and they could take a look at it, and I'll send everyone the pictures that I took today. Also, I just sent you guys some pictures of some signage. I'm not going to put it off onto the staff, but I did want to put that out there for some possible signage that I like. You don't have to like it, but if that's something that the commission wants to like look into further as far as the type of signage, I like it because it's PVC plastic and it doesn't wear with the sun, and it's a lot more durable than the other stuff that we've had in the past, and it looks very nice. It's not wood anymore. It looks like wood, and it has like the gold leaf writing, and it really looks like, fancy antiquish look. Kind of fits into our motif with our sign, with our new logo in the back. So if the commission is interested in following up on that, I could try to get some pricing, and then we can, because we need to start thinking about some more signage. We already had two signages, I believe, two signs down, at least one sign down. I know the Eastern Avenue sign's down. I think there's another one down, but or it's in need of repair. And so that's something that I want everybody to think about. But other than that, I didn't have anything. Thank you.
All right, thanks. At large Commissioner, Mr. Brooks, did you want to say anything?
For the interest of time, I'll make it really quick, but just a couple of weeks ago, we had a really, really loud event in Cottage City, and a lot of residents were emailing me about that. So they were just concerned as we're phasing into summer that those events would get louder and louder. So just something, listening to code enforcement earlier, that would be really fantastic to kind of take care of that. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, so our next item would be the closed session to discuss some legal matters. So I need to read this form. Hopefully I have the right authority. So let me see, where am I at? This is the old form. Okay, statutory authority to go into closed session under State Government Article 10-508A to discuss any other personnel matter that affects one or more specific individuals, to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice. And I'm going to say, but I'm not sure, consult with staff, consultants, or other individuals about pending or potential litigation. Is there a motion to go into closed session at 10:23 p.m.?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Armache. Is there a second?
Given second.
Second.
I believe Commissioner Givens spoke first. So I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Givens, aye.
Brooks,
Young eye.
Wheatley, aye. There was no nays or abstention. The motion passes. We are now in closed session at 10:23. I'm going to pause the recording. I can pause it. If I can, okay, it is now 12:12 a.m. May 11th, 2023. We are back in open session. The statutory authority that we went into closed session was under, where am I at? Where's my form? Sorry, under, is it? Oh, here it is, 10-508A. We discussed personnel matters. Specifically, we discussed the personnel manual, making some possible changes to streamline the process and some of the personnel actions. Specifically, possibly suspension or possible termination. We also consulted with someone from Legit and our own attorney, Mr. Best. What else did we discuss?
We discussed Mr.
Miss,
Cote's
yes.
situation, and just to clarify, I don't think I got a message as to what to tell him other than just nothing really, that the commission's not going to do anything at this point about this, correct?
I believe we all said that we weren't going to do, we didn't think we should do anything at this time.
Okay, thank you.
So we also consulted with staff, consultants or other individuals about pending or potential litigation. And those in attendance were all 5 commissioners, our town manager, our town attorney, and Mr. Matthew Peter from Legit. We did not take any votes on anything, and we did not change any policy at this time. Believe I covered everything in the closed session. It's 12:14. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
I was gonna say, I know you guys don't want to stay on this call any
I'll second.
longer.
Give him a second.
Okay, I'm sorry. Who made the motion to adjourn? Was that Armache?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Armache made the motion to adjourn. I believe Commissioner Givens made the second. Call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Givens, aye. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Wheatley, aye. We are adjourned at 12:14. Thank you, everyone, and good night.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks. Good night.